Hey, y'all. So we are live. Crazy news going on. So I figured we can have a dram or two and forget all about that noise. All right. Let's get this thing set up proper. There we go. Got a couple drams. I've picked up some new stuff over the past couple weeks, which I'll probably get into a little bit tonight. I was just over enjoying Rob Whiskey in the Six's live stream, which was a lot of fun and inspired me to just kind of keep going because, hey, I got nothing else to do tomorrow. In the glass right now, I'm starting off with a bourbon. This is a bourbon that I picked up a few months ago, Larceny Barrel Proof. It's their first release of their barrel proof batch A120, 61.6%. It's a wheated bourbon. Should be fun to sip on. Oh, looks like Peter White's in the house. Hey, Peter. Nice to see you again. I just saw Peter over in the live stream with Rob Whiskey in the Six. So we'll keep things going. Jason Coates is here too. Hey, Jason, what's up, man? Good to see you over on Rob's stream, and I think somebody else might be doing a stream tonight too, but whatever. I'm going to do it too because I got nothing else going on, and we'll keep the whiskey chat going for anybody who's interested. Larceny. This barrel-proof Larceny is just fantastic stuff. Not the easiest thing to get, from what I understand. I found it in a couple places here in the States over the last couple of, probably about the last month or so. It's good stuff. Peter White says, tell it, I booked next week off to watch the NCAA tournament and nothing. Yeah, man, stuff is crazy. It's like every time I go on Twitter or look at the news, there's some other major event being canceled, some famous person's got coronavirus, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So, this is the world we live in. Things are crazy, but what can you do? We're just going to have to power through it, y'all. In addition to this Larceny, I've got a couple other things I'm going to have tonight. Redbreast 12 cast strength. This is the second batch from 2019. Have a little bit of that. Got some Glenmorangie 15, the Catball Estate, which is basically like a local barley that Glenmorangie just put out. And we got some Ardbeg Black, the committee release. So probably get into a few of those. We'll see how long things go tonight, but see, we got 4 folks in already. It's good to see everybody. Feel free to say hi in the chat. Jason Coates, $40 is going to, for S4D. Oh, right on. Scotch for Dummies. Okay, cool. Well, it looks like there's a lot of people who have the same idea. Let's all go live tonight. I didn't realize Scotch for Dummies was going. That's how out of the loop I am. I barely had time to catch up today, getting as much work as I could get done, so I wouldn't have to think about work over the next 3 days. I don't know. I work remote actually for a living, and so my schedule's not changing really too much, but the nature of the work that I do is changing a bit because, a lot of things we do require things to be happening out in the world that aren't really happening right now. So who knows? Let me just catch up on the chat here. Maybe when the hype is over, every new bourbon, they will start to sit on the shelves. Peter, you got a good point there, man. Considering what COVID-19 is probably going to do to our economy here in the United States, you wonder if it's going to take some wind out of the sails of this increasingly insane bourbon craze that we've all been experiencing. Maybe prices will go down. Who knows? All sorts of things. We're in uncharted waters, at least, for my generation. I'm 38, and so I don't recall living through anything quite like this. I mean, this maybe the closest thing I could even think of would be, 9/11 in terms of just the disruption to the economy, the, just general society level fear, panic, and uncertainty. I can't say I've ever witnessed anything quite like this, and how quickly it's happened. It's just incredible. And unfortunately, our government hasn't been great in terms of its response and messages. So, hopefully that'll change for the better too. And we can depend on things to get under control somewhat. But I'm thinking that, I had a trip planned for later this month. That's canceled. I can't imagine what this is going to do to the travel industry. It's all crazy. But, we got whiskey, we got internet. Hopefully that'll keep going. Red Dragon is in the house saying cheers. Hey, Red Dragon, how you doing? Thanks for stopping in. Peter White said NCAA is out $1 billion, though. That must hurt. Geez, yeah. I mean, I saw that, they've canceled the rest of the NBA season. Major League Baseball, which, opening day for baseball fans was right around the corner. They've delayed that at least 2 weeks. I think there's a lot of folks betting on the fact that maybe the temperature change is going to, have some effect on slowing down the how quickly this virus is spreading. I'm not sure about that. Everything I'm reading is kind of not sure either. So, baseball is gonna slow things down a little bit. They're planning for a 2-week delay. Who knows about the NBA, NCAA? God, who even knows? I mean, sports fans are going to take a hit, but you worry a lot about small businesses too, or just people aren't going to go out and eat. We're already seeing a lot of that. I mean, I'm here in Philadelphia, and there's already been stories about just kind of the racism, xenophobia when it comes to going to Chinatown and things like that. And then you just have everybody else who runs small businesses like having to just deal with people not going out in public. It's just crazy. We will see. Peter White says, not really. Every world crisis, they run to buy U.S. dollars. Yeah, I mean, in the finance side of things, I mean, we do control our own currency here in the U.S. And despite, the nature of our economy, it's still considered the safest bet as far as where to place your money. And so I don't think that's going to change anytime soon. And, who knows what effects that'll have. I'm not a finance guru by trade, but, markets have been volatile. We'll see what happens. Jason Coe says, not to mention airlines, hotels, restaurants, bars. Yeah, exactly. That's going to be just devastating. My trip was going to Las Vegas, and the hotels, God, I mean, a city like that's built on tourism, that basically thrives on tourism. Who knows, it's rough. I feel for a lot of the service workers whose livelihoods depend on people spending money. I mean, the people who are going to get hit the hardest on this at first are going to be working class folks. And, that's going to be dangerous. People are really going to be struggling. And it's just going to keep compounding. I mean, you just got to hope that over the next couple of weeks, this abates in some way. But so far, the signs don't seim to say it. Peter White said, 9/11 was a crisis. Many an airline went out of business. Yeah, seriously. That was, I was 18 years old when that happened. And 17 going on. Yeah, I was 18. Now that I think about it. I mean, that was, I was a little bit young, so I didn't have the full grasp of what was happening, but in terms of, the ripple effect in the economy, at least, but, definitely getting a bird's eye view of that now. But in the interim, I got plenty of whiskey. And so I'd be curious if anybody, if there's any fans of wheated bourbon out there, if there's any wheated bourbons you all are big fans of, I'd love to hear what they are. But happy to tell you a little bit about this Larceny barrel proof. I did do an uncorking review of this about a month ago. As you can see, I have been enjoying it. I've put quite a dent in this bottle. I am not the biggest fan of weeded bourbon in general. I kind of find that it's a little bit just sweet and uninteresting. You know, if you're connected to secondary markets in any way when it comes to bourbon, you'll know that bourbons like Weller, for example, stuff that used to be bottom shelf is just obscenely priced because of the whiskey craze. And I think it is that weeded bourbon is it's an unchallenging for the most part, and I guess unoffensive bourbon. And so it is a great way to get into bourbon. I prefer more of a higher rye mash bill when it comes to the bourbons that I drink. I like to have a little bit of spice. And I think with the rye mash bill, you get a little bit more complexity. But, I'm not a hater. I'm not going to run around trying to spend $120 on a bottle of Weller Special Reserve or something like that. I personally think the regular Larceny actually is comparable to the Weller Special Reserve, and it readily available, less than $25 in most cases. So, however, this barrel proof, which this is out of Heaven Hill, so it's the same people that make Elijah Craig, and so it looks like this is the beginning of a consistent barrel proof release series that they're going to start doing with Larceny. So this is the inaugural one, 61.6% ABV. Much like the barrel proof, it has a batch number that's coded A120. So A being the first batch of the year, 1 being January, the release, and 20 being the year. So assuming they're going to have more of these coming out, get your hands on this if you can. About $45 to $50. I think you can get the Larceny barrel proof. Totally worth your money. Even if you're not a huge weeded bourbon fan, I think because it's barrel proof, anything that's barrel proof and it's of a decent quality always gets my attention. It does say this is 6 to 8 year old bourbon, which for me is like almost the sweet spot. I personally don't love bourbon that's more than, say, 12 years, just because it gets so oaky. I think some of the, what they broadly call premium bourbons, which are over $150, $200, that are like 20 years or 19 years, 23 years, whatever. I just find that with bourbon, and it has to do with the climate, but it's just the oaky nature of it. The barrel influence just becomes too much for me, and I just don't personally enjoy it. There's probably some out there that I would enjoy, but I've had the Elijah Craig 23, the Elijah Craig 18. I've had the Orphan Barrel Rhetoric, which was like 24 years. It's just too damn oaky. And so 6 to 8 years, pretty good sweet spot here for bourbon. I think you can get a good bourbon, even in that, the casks are good, 14 to 15 years, is about the highest end I go as far as age on bourbon. But this Larceny barrel proof, this is a winner. I think I scored this a 4 out of 5 on my uncorking. I was probably going to revisit it for a review after it oxidized, but as you can see, that was a month ago. I've put quite a dent in this, so I should probably stop drinking it. But I got a couple other bourbons and whiskeys I'll get into tonight. So let me just catch up on the chat. Let's see, we got 7 folks watching, which is super cool. Cheers, everybody out there. Hope you all are staying safe. Hope your families are safe. Hope you're enjoying a good dram. Oak and Smoke Whiskey Reviews is in the house. What's up? Saying hi to everybody. Raise a glass to you, Oak and Smoke. Cheers. Really been enjoying your videos. If any of you have yet to check out Oak and Smoke stuff, do check out their channel, hit subscribe. They got a lot of good stuff. He's been doing some really cool reviews, a lot of fun. One of my only my favorite channels that I've got into so far here in 2020. So do check out Oak and Smoke if you've yet to, y'all. Peter White said, I like weeded bourbon. Will be a year at least before I see it here. Makers Private Selects, and of course, William LaRue Weller are really good. Yeah, I forgot about Makers Mark. The Makers Mark Private, the private ones that they release are really good. I wouldn't complain about regular Makers Mark even. I also really like the Makers 46. I think it gets overlooked sometimes by folks who are into bourbon. I think, people, it's usually one of those kind of premium bourbons that people try right away when they get into it and, get what they can out of it and move on. But I really like their stuff. There's also a Maker's Mark cask strength, which I've actually never had, but I've heard great things about. Be curious if any of you have had that Maker's cask strength. Oak and Smoke saying hi to Peter White. Hey, Brent, coming back at you from Peter White. Peter White says GTS is 15 years, and I hear it's not bad. GTS. Is it George T. Stagg? 15 years. I wonder are you talking about the BTAC release or are you talking about the Stagg Jr.? Peter White says, I actually love sweet oaky high age bourbon. Oh, right on, man. Good deal. Not my favorite thing, and maybe it's hit or miss. It depends on what bottle you get, but I really like, the oldest whiskeys that I've had on the bourbon side that I thought kept the balance between not being too dry and oaky was like some of the Knob Creek single barrel, like store picks that are in that 14, 15-year-old range. I love Knob Creek in general, so not surprised to hear me saying this, as many of you probably know. But, the older ones that I've had, like that Orphan Barrel Rhetoric 24 and some of the older Elijah Cranes, just didn't quite do it for me. I guess it's more that the price doesn't match the whiskey for me. And so, my philosophy is kind of that price matters in terms of how I rate whiskey because, for someone like me, I don't have a ton of money to be spending on stuff all the time. And so, I like to try to at least consider price when I'm thinking about a whiskey. And for those, I'm thinking, the Orphan Barrel Rhetoric is $150. That's a lot for a bourbon. And for something that I just found to be so oaky, just didn't float my boat. But, it's subjective. So to each his own. I got an extra bottle of it if anybody's interested. Let me know. Let me just catch up here. So we got 8 folks watching. Great. Good to see everybody, man. Anthony's in the house saying, hey, guys. What's up, Anthony? Nice to see you, man. Hope you're staying safe. Raise a glass to you, brother. Anthony said, great episodes on Ardbeg Black and the Larceny Barrel Proof. Both are great. I just got the Ardbeg and it's amazing. Oh, congratulations. I'd be curious to hear where you found a bottle of the Ardbeg Black because you're in the PA area. I mean, you're in Southern PA just like I am, right? I recall we've talked about this before. I found a bottle over in right across the Delaware River in South Jersey. Be curious what you paid for it too. Rob Klomstra. Hey, Rob, saying what's up, Rabbit. I like it. Rob's going to keep the rabbit up. For those of you new to the channel, I did a branding switch a while back from it used to be called Rabbit and Red Reviews. I'm switched it over to Malt Muser Reviews, mostly because the Rabbit and Red thing was going to be related to also doing horror films, which I could tell you more about later, but I didn't do it. Peter White says BTAC, just joking on your 12-year limit. Yeah, well, I mean, I'll be honest. I've had a couple BTACs, not bottles. I've never owned a bottle of it. I keep getting I get in the lottery here in PA. I didn't win. My brother is quite a bourbon head and has poured me some of the BTACs, the George Stagg BTAC from, I think the one I had was 2018, was just mind-blowingly good. But secondary prices on those are so crazy. I just wouldn't pay that much for a bourbon, but they're amazing if you can get them. Let's see what else we got. Whiskey Straight Al's in the house. Good to see you, Al. Cheers, brother. Says, how's it going, Eric? Good to catch you on a live stream. Yeah, good to catch you too. Civilization's crumbling before our very eyes, and why not just have a couple whiskeys and chat about it with friends? I guess that's where my head is at tonight. These are some crazy times, friends. Crazy times. Oak and Smoke says, Pappy 15 isn't over oak. The 23 is a little different story. Okay, so interesting. I've not had the Pappy 23, so I really couldn't tell you about that one. I did have the Pappy 15. That's the lot B. Maybe not. I think I've had the Pappy 15. I've also had the Pappy Rye, and then I've had the lot B, both of which all of those I thought were were really good. But again, it's just, unless you can get it at market, you know, at MSRP, it's like, man, the secondary prices on that stuff is crazy. Peter White says 20 to 25-year-old bourbon does not grow on trees. Yeah, that's real talk. Rob Klomstra, I have to watch the Black review of yours yet. Just been super busy prepping for our March break trip. We just ended up canceling. Oh, man, yeah, I hear you. Man, there's just so much crazy. Like, I was just mentioning a little earlier, I had to cancel a trip to Las Vegas I was doing for work. Real bummer, man. Sorry to hear about that, Rob. I hope that you can find something good to do with your time and that it didn't put you out any money. Yeah, it's craziness. Anthony said, yeah, I'm in King of Prussia, right on. King of Prussia is just up the street from Philly for you guys who don't know Southeast PA. I got it at Claymont's Total Wine in Delaware. It was $149. And you're talking about the Ardbeg Black? Nice. They got any more? Maybe I'll swing down there and get another bottle. I got a bottle. This one I got at Benash in South Jersey, $140. So, you know, about the same price. This has gone up. I mean, the Grooves, which came out in the Grooves was the 2018 committee release, and the Drum was the 2019, was more like $120. And so, man, another $20. It's like, if I wasn't such an Ardbeg homer and fanboy about it and like just sucker for the hype, God, I would never pay $140 for an NAS whiskey unless it was something just mind-blowing. I mean, God. But I will say, if you checked out my review, this is a good one. And I'm going to pour a little bit of this in a little while anyway. So if you can get your hands on the Ardbeg Black Committee release, it's worth it. It's, well, for $140, is it worth it? If you love Ardbeg, yes. If not, just wait a few months. You'll get it on the regular release. Whiskey Straight Out says, hey to Oak and Smoke. Brent, mate, how you doing? Oak and Smoke says, hey, how you doing, good friend? It's yourself. Whiskey Straight Out says, exactly. Doing okay, buddy. Late here and near bedtime, but doing okay. Good to see you. Yeah, cheers, man. So we got some talking about Whiskey in the Six's house. Yeah, man. Whiskey, what's up? I need this. I'm assuming you're talking about the Ardbeg Black. I might just cut through the BS and go straight to that because y'all are getting me excited about it. If any of you guys are not yet subscribers of Whiskey in the Six, I don't know how that's possible. He's one of the best whiskey reviewers on YouTube. Do head over to his channel and check it out. He just had a great live stream tonight comparing Glenallachie 15 and the Glendronach 15. He's got great insight, great palate for this stuff, has actually got me, was one of the people that I started watching when I first got into watching YouTube videos. So check out Whiskey in the Six. He's got great stuff. He gets some whiskey that I'll probably never get to try. So do check it out, y'all, if you're yet to subscribe. He's saying, what's up, guys? Peter White, I believe you, but I may never find out. Hey, Rob. Folks saying hey to Rob. Jason Coates, Peter White. Good crew in here. Whiskey Straight Out. I've watched part of your review at Alt Wizards. It's on hold, and I'll finish watching it tomorrow. Oh, I'm assuming you're talking about the Ardbeg Black. Yeah, I was excited. So the reason I honestly had forgotten and have kind of written off after last year. I was not a huge fan of the Drum. It's not that the Drum was a bad whiskey. It's just that like paying $120 for an NAS whiskey is just like. It's hard for me to justify. It really just is hard for me to justify. So I did find it randomly on a shelf. I had purchased the Grooves committee release previous and the Kelpie before that were both in that 110, 120 range. I liked the Grooves a lot. The Kelpie was pretty good. The Drum disappointed, and I was just like, you know what? It was one of those moments where you were like, kind of hit with reality. Like, why are you spending $120 on chasing these, somewhat gimmicky, over marketed whiskeys? When you could spend $120 and get an 18-year-old Boonhaven, I'm just like, why am I doing this? So I had kind of put the Ardbeg committee release stuff out of my mind. And then a good friend of mine, Telex, if you're not subscribers to Telex, check out Telex, the Whiskey Text videos. I used to talk a lot of whiskey with him when I lived down in DC, which is where he is. And Telex loves his Ardbeg, got the black, and was like, "Oh man, this is a winner! Like this is going to be the one that turns it around for folks who have been a little bit down on Ardbeg's committee releases, whether it was the drum or even the grooves. Some folks didn't like the grooves." So Telex did a great live video, and I was like, "Oh shit!" And so I went out hunting the next day. I was just looking for whiskey. I wasn't even thinking about buying the black, but I stopped in a local shop. And we were talking. He had poured me a sample of a Napote Castle 12 pick that he had, and we were just kind of talking whiskey. I had grabbed a couple things off his shelf because it's a great shop in South Jersey called Benash. If you're not there, plus I'm part of the Philadelphia Whiskey Society, so we get a little bit of a discount. And so I just asked him like, "Oh, you got that Ardbeg Black?" And he's like, "Yeah, I do." And I was like, "Oh," and the rest. I had to do it. Telex got me hyped on it, so I went back, and I'm glad I did. It's a good pour. I think it's even worth buying. I think I gave it 4 out of 5, which for me is a recommend buying a bottle, even at that $140 price range. Now I wouldn't go too much higher than that, to be honest. But all right, let me put something else in the glass. I think I'm going to do a little bit more of this. So I actually just got finished reviewing this one today. This is the Glenmorangie 15 Catball Estate. Just started seeing this pop up over the last couple of weeks in my area of the world. I do love me some Glenmorangie. My review will come up for this in a couple weeks, but a little sneak preview. So this whiskey it's basically they're kind of doing a local barley angle. All this barley is apparently grown right on the Catball Estate, which is part of the Glenmorangie property. It's picked by the whiskey distiller. It's a 15-year-old, so you got the age statement, which is awesome. Glenmorangie's been really cool about their age statements as of late. Their Quinta Reuben, which is their Portwood, used to be a 12-year. Now it's a 14-year. I appreciate that, given kind of the trends you're seeing in single malts to going away from age statements. Glenmorangie seems to be pretty dedicated to that. 43% ABV, chill filtered, and colors added, which is just a bummer. I would really love if they would just not chill filter a whiskey like this, to be honest. I mean, you got this local barley, you're trying to get the essence of like this local flavor or whatever they're, trying to sell you on, and like to just chill filter it. It's like, why take away from the experience? That said, it's still good. I got a little bit in the glass. I'm going to enjoy some of it now, but cool. We got 11 folks on, man. Slaunch at everybody out there. Let me try to catch up on the chat. It's going pretty quick. Where are we at? Hey, Peter. Hey, Jason. Thanks, Eric. Appreciate it, brothers. Whiskey in the Six. Yeah, man, definitely. Anthony says Whiskey in the Six is a great channel. Yeah, for sure. Sub him if you haven't. His stuff's great. He knows a lot about Scotch. Whiskey in the Six. Hey, buddy. Great stuff on the live stream earlier. Says Whiskey Straight Al. Rob said, I was hoping to maybe stumble across the black on our way to Florida, but that's the trip that was canceled. Oh, I see. Yeah, right. So you're up in Canada. That's right. Man, really, that's a real bummer, man. Not only were you going to get to do some whiskey hunting in the U.S., but also, get that nice warm weather of South Florida. So I'm sorry to hear that, man. I'm not really sure how the, how the whiskey allocation works in Canada, being from the States, but I'm hoping that, you guys will probably at least get some of the black there. I know it's mostly government stores. So I live in a state with government stores. So I know kind of about the opportunities and challenges that come with that, but hoping you guys can get your hands on it, or maybe, email me at malt.muser@gmail. Maybe we can figure out a way to send you a sample or something like that, if you end up not being able to find it. Whiskey says, thanks, Anthony. That blows, says Peter Wright. Yeah, totally. So Anthony says, is the Ugadal spelling more worth it than the drum? Yes. I'm going to just say yes. Yeah, it's really hard to spell. My general feeling is really my wheelhouse for smoky scotches is is with wine finishes. So the Ugadal is aged in Oloroso. And to be honest, it was one of just a handful of whiskeys that were bottles of wow for me in my life. The Ugadal is, I think, still, now I haven't had a glass in a while, but I think it's still probably my favorite single malt ever. Depending on the price where you find it, I mean, you're going to find it anywhere from 80 to 90 bucks in the US. It's worth it. Now, some folks will tell you that the earlier release versions of it from years back were better. That's probably true. They probably had a little bit older stuff, but it's nothing to sneeze at still these days. I think it's the best thing Ardbeg makes. I don't think there's been a better Ardbeg except maybe the Dark Cove Committee release, which you'll never find. So don't even just put that out of your mind. Yeah, Oaky is a must buy, in my opinion. It's a fantastic whiskey. It is an NAS. I think it's probably, I don't know, 6 to 8 years old. Who knows? But it's so good. And if you're a meat eater, having that with a steak is sublime. I can't say enough about the Oaky. I actually haven't done a full review of it. But I do have, I think, 2 bottles of it in the bunker. I just haven't got around to opening them. So it's been probably about 6 months since I've had a glass of it. But I recommend it strongly, and I'm sure there's some folks in here that'll agree. Jason Code says, would still rather spend 50 and get an Ardbeg 10. Are you talking about that compared to the Ugadal, or are you talking about that compared to the committee release? If so, I'm not gonna tell you otherwise. I look, Ardbeg 10, I don't know. Maybe I'll go out on a limb and say it. Probably the best core range, pure essence of Islay single malt you can get. I'm actually going to do an uncorking head-to-head with Laphroaig 10 probably in a month or 2. I got 2 bottles sitting there, bought them right around the same time. Love both of those whiskeys, but, you know, in my opinion, the Ardbeg 10, the thing about Ardbeg 10 that is just what puts it over the edge compared to pretty much any of the like standard release core range releases from Islay distilleries is that age statement. A lot of them have age statements, but Ardbeg 10 is 46% ABV, and it's not chill filtered, and it's natural color, even though it doesn't say it on the bottle, which is annoying as fuck. But it is not chill filtered. Like they do it, they present that in a craft format, and you just have to like appreciate that. And for somebody who's seasoned in single malts, like, you know, that's the type of presentation of a whiskey, especially these days, that you just got to put your money behind. You know, Ardbeg's not diluting it down to 40%. They could, but they're not. They're not chill filtering the hell out of it to try to make it, you know, whatever, more clear, transparent, so, you know, it looks better in a glass. I mean, you got to give props to them for that. And you know, they're not coloring it. And the thing I've never understood is, like, if you're presenting a whiskey in a green bottle anyway, what is the freaking point of adding fake color to your whiskey? Especially, like, what's the point? It's not like anybody can tell what it looks like anyways until it's in the glass. It's just a weird, I think it's just a mentality in the industry that tells you, oh, this is what the trends say. It's not thinking about your actual product. It's just following these like macro level trends that don't quite make sense when you consider about what your own product is. Laphroaig 10 is in a green bottle. Ardbeg 10 is in a green bottle. Who can see the color of it anyways? So why would you even bother putting dye into your whiskey? I don't know, man. I'll get off my soapbox, but it's just mind-boggling. So yeah, I'm totally with you. Ardbeg 10, can't go wrong. Anthony says still hadn't had the Ugadal yet. Yeah, get yourself some Ugadal. You will not be wrong. It's not what it used to be. Coin flip, says Peter White. Are you talking about the Oaky? Yeah, I've heard that. I mean, I've never had one of these older, you know, 2005, 2006 bottling, so I don't know for sure. But, you know, The oldest one I had is probably 2000, I don't know, 16. It blew my mind. I'm sure we'll reschedule once things calm down, says Rob. Yeah, hopefully, man. All right. Some folks saying hi to each other. Jason Cook says Springbank 10 is still my favorite of them all. Yeah, you can't go wrong with Springbank 10. You know, I've noticed the price increasing on that here. I went into a shop yesterday, like I said, when I was out hunting, and Springbank 10 was $85. Come on. That used to be $60 just a year ago. It's amazing. I don't know if it's related to the tariffs or not, but so anyways, let me tell you a little bit about this Catball estate. I am a Glenmorangie fan, and so I have a little bit of probably bias, but I'll tell you this much. This reminds me of Dalwhinnie 15 in that it is a sweet, honey-forward whiskey. It's got a really nice body. Nothing is jumping out of the glass at you with an overpowering note. It's actually just a really balanced, relaxed sipping dram, creamy as hell. Much like the Dalwhinnie 15. I think this has a little bit more happening in terms of complexity than Dalwhinnie 15, but I wouldn't say this is a complex whiskey. We'll see what oxidization does, but all in all, dessert. It's got a little bit of citrus orange, creamy, just sweet honey, vanilla. I love it. Only problem, it's $85-$90. That's a lot. But if you've drank a lot of Glenmorangies, you're going to know it. It's all bourbon cask, which is another thing that's like, probably it's all bourbon cask because that way this local barley has more space to shine in it. I think it would be maybe a little bit drowned out with a wine cask, but what I think Glenmorangie does really well is their wine cask. The La Santa 12-year is one of the best Oloroso sherry influence, in my opinion. If you're into port, the Quinta Ruben 12 or 14 are really good. The Nectar d'Or, which is the Sauternes, or is it Masala? Sauternes, great whiskey, is a great whiskey. They just do a really great job with their wine finishes. I honestly can't say I've had a bad Glenmorangie. And this one is right. It's right in there. I don't think this is a world beater. Some folks really, depending on what your palate is, right? At the end of the day, it's subjective, but it's good. And I appreciate it. It's a little bit unique. I've had some Glenmorangies that I thought were a little bit more interesting than this one. The one that I think of off the top of my head is the Glenmorangie Speos, which is the rye barrel finish, which is awesome. I'm going to be actually posting my review finally of that in relatively short order. But yeah, you can't go wrong. I just give them props. 15-year age statement. Wish it was 46%. Wish they didn't chill filter the hell out of it. I think you could probably get even more of what they're going for in this if it wasn't chill filtered, but this ain't a bad whiskey. And it seems like it'd be a great one for a dessert. Let's see. Peter White says, sounds like Ontario price. Yeah, possibly. Are you talking about the Catball estate? $85-$90? Jason Coates says, Springbank probably doesn't do the volume necessary to absorb the tariffs like bigger players. Yeah, that makes sense. Whiskey in the 6. Poured a second dram of the Glenalky 15. So, man, I wish you had done that live stream last night or 2 nights ago, because when I was at the shop, they had this Glenalky 15, and I was like, what the hell is this? They also had Glenalky, a 13-year-old single cask for about $150, which I didn't buy because I ended up getting the black instead. But they had the Glenalky 15, and I was like, I didn't even realize they had done a 15-year-old. And it was the same bottle you had on your live stream. It's super dark, looked amazing. I have only had the Glenalky 12, which I liked enough. it would be a whiskey that when I reviewed it at the time, I did an uncorking review. And so, those, it's always kind of preliminary score. I think I gave it a 3 out of 5, which for me is, recommend trying or picking it up if it's at a good price. But Glenallachie has been one of those that I wanted to check back out again. I could tell it was a quality whiskey, and its presentation said it all. It was non-chill filtered. It was natural color. It was 46%. It was like hitting all the right notes. And so I'm willing to, spend money on a whiskey that does that, even if it's something I'm not super familiar with. So cool to hear about the Glenallachie 15. After watching your review tonight, I'm probably going to end up back at that shop, assuming COVID-19 doesn't eviscerate the world, and probably head over there and put that on my list in short order of my next pickup. Jason Coates says, Springbank. Oh, I think I saw that. I imagine there's not much choice but to pass the cost on, unfortunately. Yeah, that's true. Andrew Page is in the house. Andrew Page, hey, how you doing, man? Salancha. Raise a glass to you. Springbank 10 has jumped up to $10 to $15 here too, after being unavailable for a while. As far as what I'm buying, no other Scotch have gone up in prices here. So yeah, I'm not sure where you're at, but if you're in the States, I'm wondering if this is across the board. I mean, I literally, one of my favorite shops, which is part of our Philadelphia Whiskey Society network, 3 weeks ago, Springbank 10 was $64.99 there. The Springbank 12 cask strength, one of my favorite whiskeys ever, was $94. When I went in there 2 days ago, the Springbank 12 cask strength was up to $125. I was like, damn. Wish I had bought that a couple of weeks earlier. And their 10 head, the 10 head went up about $15. So 15, $20. It was like 80.99 or 84.99. It's like, man. So I'm not sure if this is across the board or something, but I assume he ain't raising his prices unless it is. Oaken Smokes is nice. I'm sipping the Stag Junior Batch 9s to Whiskey in the 6. Whiskey in the 6s, I like the Spios. Yeah, dude, the Spios is great. And the thing about that is it's still pretty readily available here in the States. Donner Pass is in the house. Oh, good to see you, Donner Pass. That's a great title for this live. Yeah, I don't know. We were chatting earlier on Whiskey in the 6s stream, and there was a prolonged discussion of coronavirus, which got me thinking about the state of affairs. So, I'm staying up a little bit later and have a drink. Salancha, buddy. Good to see you. Nice, Brent. Hey, Donner, says Jason. Just noticed. Rob Klomstra. Hey, I missed the very beginning. Where did you find the Catball? I wanted to snag one, but wasn't able to find one. Is it a travel retail exclusive? No, it is not. So this just hit the U.S. market. They say it came out in March, but I'm telling you it was out earlier. I have seen this, honestly, I have about 3 or 4 shops that I go to in South Jersey. All of them had it. I had ordered this online because at the time I thought this was not a whiskey I was going to be able to find easily. It was online too. So it's pretty readily available here in the States. As for in your neck of the woods, I'm not sure. But I think if you're near the border, you could probably find this in, 2 or 3 shops worth of stops. You could find it. It seems like it's pretty much all over, at least here on the East Coast. Has it made it out West? I'm not entirely sure, but it didn't seem very hard to find given its limited edition, et cetera, et cetera. But it's a good one, man. I hope you get an opportunity to try it. Rob's out. Hey, take it easy, Rob. Yeah, good to see you. Great live stream tonight. Take good care. So we still got 11 folks on. Awesome. I think this thing actually might be a little delayed, but cool. I think I missed a couple things. Donner Pass said, yeah, I really want the Glenallachie 15 too. Yeah, man, geez. I was interested. I almost pulled the trigger, but I didn't. I'd be curious, has anybody else had the Glenallachie 15 or like any other Glenallachies that they would recommend for that matter? As I said, I'm kind of ignorant when it comes to Glenallachie. I've just had the 12, which I'll be real, I bought because it was Ralphie's Whiskey of the Year, and I was like, shit, I got to try this. I have not had any since. That was 2 years ago. So I am welcoming Glenn Alecky votes of endorsement from folks. All right. Anthony says, good night, Rob. Donner Pass just opened Glenn Alecky or Glenn Farkless Marriage of Casks. What is that? Last night. Amazing. First bottle ordered from TWE since the tariffs. Also got a signatory Deanstone 11-year, 11-month first fill sherry, 66.6% doubles Deanstone. Whoa. Donner Pass, man, that is TWE. Would you mind sharing what that is? I might just be not picking up the reference. Oh, Whisky Exchange. Is that the Whisky Exchange? What does it cost to get shipping from them? Is it a situation like, is it worth ordering bottles from them if you get enough? Or is their shipping just like outrageous? In any event, a Deanstone 11-year first fill sherry sounds amazing. Man, I'll tell you, this Catball Estate is no slouch. This is a good whiskey. Donner, I'm not sure if you saw, I recently did a review. I think I posted just a couple days ago. It was actually my first Deanstone ever. It was the 2008 Bordeaux red wine finish. I think it's a 9-year. Fantastic stuff. I have a bottle of it open. I might actually pour a little bit of that tonight. Why not? Really, really great whiskey. I'm not sure if you've had that or not. I've not had. I have one other bottle of Deanstone that I just haven't opened yet because I just got too much stuff going on at once. I just haven't had a chance to open it. But I got it very recently. It's called Deanstone 20 Oloroso cask, I think. I'm really excited for that one. I think that's going to be a really good bottle. But this one sounds just amazing. It's a signatory 11-year first fill sherry. What did that bottle cost you? I'd love to know. Feel free to share deets. Rob Klomstra, 66% ABV. Wow. It's actually called Devil's Deets. If it is, that's amazing. I got to figure out how to get it. Jason Coates says the Donner Pass. Hey, yeah, I have a 66.6% JD single barrel. Jack Daniels? Ooh. Jason Coates, I'll say, if you have a couple bottles and pick the right things, it can save you money over buying locally. Oh, okay, so you're talking about Whisky Exchange, I think. If that's the case, yeah, I should do that. I've avoided it just because I wasn't quite sure. But I'm assuming that Whisky Exchange has stuff that you just simply can't get in the States. I have to assume that. I actually visited one of their locations in London last year. It was an amazing experience. I've never been in a whiskey shop that was as cool as the Whisky Exchange. I can't remember which one it was, but I think it's like the most well-known one. I came home with a bottle of Lecheg 18 from there. And I think I might have grabbed something else. I'm not quite sure, but I know I got the Lecheg 18 from there. And looking forward to cracking that open relatively soon. Oak and Smoke is out. Got to hit the sack. Great live. Cheers. Yeah, great to see you, Oak and Smoke. And yeah, folks, if anybody's on here that is yet to sub to Oak and Smoke, do hit that out. Do subscribe to his channel. He's got a great channel. Donner passes no, but it's funny. Shipping is pricey, around $20 a bottle, but there are some things you just can't get. Tariffs are now 25%. Ouch. This was $87 plus 25% plus $20 delivery. So 125, 130 bucks. Still, though, for an 11-year-old Deanstone at 66.6%, that's still not a bad price. Yeah, those tariffs are a bitch. So does it, much like other shipping, Donner, does it, like, if you order 2 bottles, does the shipping like become $23? If you order 3 bottles, $25, something like that? Be curious to hear that. In the interim, let me grab that Deanstone so I can show you which one it is. So this is the one that I was mentioning. I did post a review recently, but if you haven't seen it, you check it out. So this is the first Deanstone I've ever had. It is the Deanstone 2008 Bordeaux red wine cask, 58.7%. It's not a single cask, but it's cask strength, unchill filtered, and it's all Bordeaux red wine. It's great. And actually, you know what? We're gonna before we do another dram of that Ardbeg Black, I think I'm just gonna pour some of this. Yeah. Since I only have one Glencairn here, I'm gonna rinse it out a little bit. All right, here we go with a little bit of this Deanstone. All right, and looks like I'm doing a healthy pour. Why not, right? Deanstone. Check out the color on this, y'all. For those of you who've never had this, look at that. Oh, isn't that beautiful? Man, the nose on this is just mind-blowing. It smells like it's, I don't even know how to describe it. It is so fruity, so intense. It's like strawberry shortcake with some other berries on top. It's amazing. And, you know, near 60%. So not quite as impressive and not quite as old. I think this is 9 years old. Let me see. Yeah, 9. So this seems like it's a little younger than the one that you were mentioning there, Donner Pass, but it looks to me like Deanstone's got a lot of you know, whiskeys that are these kind of single cask, high ABV. This is all good stuff. All right, let's get the sip on this. God damn. I mean, I've not had a lot of red wine cask finish. We got this Ardbeg Black, which is Pinot Noir. I have a Kilchoman red wine finish, which, to be honest, I'm not blown away by. I think this Deanstone's much better, but it's good. So I guess I'm kind of just getting into these red wine cask finishes, or in other words, non-Oloroso or PX sherry finishes. And like, I got to say, so far, I'm really impressed. I'm more and more increasingly becoming a fan of wine casks. When I first got into single malts, it was bourbon cask because I was more of a bourbon drinker and before that a tequila drinker. And then peat, you know, just heavy peat, which I still love. But most of those heavy peated ones are bourbon cask. And then I had Ugadal, and the Ugadal was like that kind of crossover whiskey that I was like, holy Christ, this is next level. And there are a couple other peaty smoky scotches that with wine finishes that I really love. Lagavulin Distillers Edition is one of them. The Lafroig Carchis 2018 Fino cask was a really good one. Kilchoman Loch Gorm. There are a couple Kilchomans actually that I really like. I recently got a single cask sherry from them that I'm going to open soon, but yeah, the marriage of peat smoke and wine cask are some of the things that that's really just kind of my wheelhouse and probably some of my favorite stuff. Now, while this Deanstone is not smoked, it's still just amazing. Let me catch up on the chat. What's going on, y'all? Jason Coates says there are a couple shops in the EU that are good sources as well. Okay, so you're talking about beyond the Whisky Exchange. Rob says, I've had Glenallachie 10 cask strength the 12, and the 12 PX. I'd say the 12 PX is my favorite. I can't seem to get into the 10 cast strength. Oh, interesting. So the 10 cast strength, I know they were doing in batches, right? It was like, have they done a second batch? Or you're probably talking about batch one. I've not had that, but I've seen it multiple times. I haven't pulled the trigger on it. I have not seen the Glenallachie 12 PX, but man, that sounds really good. Glenallachie might be one of those distilleries I got to get into. Speaking of, I'd be curious. What are the? Do any of y'all just kind of have distilleries that are your favorites that you kind of try everything they possibly have? I'd be curious to hear if anybody has specific distilleries. I'll share some of mine in a few minutes. Donner Pest says that Deanstone 20 sherry is great. Cast strength too, I think. Love it. The Bordeaux Deanstone is amazing, good too. Oh, so you've had this Bordeaux? Okay, well, then you know. I don't know how hard it is to get this. I've only seen it in one shop, and I think it came out a couple years ago. But boy, y'all, if you were interested in a high potent cast strength red wine matured whiskey, I can't recommend this Deanstone enough. I think I gave this a 4 out of 5. If you ask me tonight, I'd maybe go 4.5 out of 5. This is a freaking fantastic single malt. Keep your eyes open for it. If you see it, it's a must buy. Let's see here. Oh, wow. I'm getting an amazing, just like grape, cherry, vanilla finish on this right now. God, it's good. Donner passes. The Kilchoman STR was good, but $100 good? Oh, so I just got a bottle of the STR relatively recently. I paid more than that. It was $110. I've read mixed reviews. But as I mentioned, when we were talking about distilleries, that's one of the ones I'm going to mention in a minute is kind of increasingly favorite distilleries. Oh, cool. Andrew Page is still here. Andrew Page says, I've ordered from them several times. I think he's talking about the Whisky Exchange. All good. But now there are custom charges. For example, $25 for 2 bottles of $48 whiskey. And the bottles are smaller too. Oh, right. Because they're 700 mils, not 750. So it looks like I might have missed the boat. Yeah, I mean, the thing about shipping, I'm in PA where shipping is severely limited from other states. But when I lived in Washington, D.C., you could get stuff shipped from anywhere. And I was able to find a lot of really good stuff from other states at good prices. And, the more you ordered, the shipping cost went down precipitously. So you were lucky. You could, buy a lot at once. Jason Coates says, when I look over a new whiskey shop, I always look for Springbank, Ben Nevis, Klein Leash, and Edgerdur. Oh, wow. Cool. So I'm totally with you on Springbank. I love Springbank. I've had the 10, I had a single cask, or no, not a single. I had the green, which was like a 12-year. I've had the 15, which might be one of my favorite whiskeys ever. I've also had the 12 cast strength, which I love. And yeah, Springbank is something I look for automatically. Ben Nevis, I have not had a Ben Nevis, but I do have a bottle of the 10. Klein Leash, only had the 14, like it. Edgerdur, I've not had any Edgerdur other than a single cask release that a friend of mine had, which was like full first fill sherry, like 61%. It was fantastic. Jason Coates hard to try everything from any of them. Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, so for me, I think my first distillery love was Laphroaig, and probably still to this day is a distillery that I have the most bottles from. If I went off the top of my head, I probably have 14 or 15 Laphroaigs. I have about 4 or 5 different batches of the Laphroaig 10 cast strength. I have a bottle of Laphroaig 10. I've had the triple wood, the quarter cask, the 4 oak, the select. I have the Carchis 2014, 15, 16, 17, and 18 and 19, the Lore, the 18, the 15, the 27, and the 25. Not the 27, the 28. So I got a lot of Laphroaig, but I will say that It's waned a little bit. Right now for me, it's Kilchoman. Kilchoman is a distillery that I've gotten really into. Glenmorangie is also one that I've really loved because it's a little bit of a change of pace. I've had a lot of Glenmorangies. All of them have been pretty much fantastic. I think for Glenmorangie, I've had the 10, the Portwood 12, the Portwood 14, Nectar d'Or, Sauternes. God, what else? La Santa, Spios, Signet, 18. That one, Catball Estates. Love me some Glenmorangie. And yeah, and Ardbeg. I think I've increasingly went from being a Laphroaig fan to being more of a Kilchoman Ardbeg fan. I would be a Bruichladdich fan, but to be honest, there's so many Bruichladdich, and the Octomore is just so freaking expensive. I just can't afford to keep up with the Octomores. They're good. I don't think they're as amazing as a lot of folks say, but this is kind of my personal opinion. I feel like the cost for an NAS on those, I just don't think they're as mind-blowing as a lot of folks do. But it's to each his own. And even though they're supposedly the most smoky whiskeys ever, I still think Laphroaig 10 hits me harder than any Octomore I've ever had. And so I think the PPMs is not always the best measurement of how quote unquote smoky a whiskey is going to be. That said, they're good. They're just too cost prohibitive for me. And you got to pick your battles. You got to pick the whiskeys you're going to chase. I just can't afford to chase every, 10.3, 8.6 Octomore that comes out. Donner Pass says, for Kilchoman, I really love the 100% Isla barley releases. They're my favorites. The only one they make that is 100% dirt to glass in-house. They own the farm and floor malting. Yeah. I am a huge fan of Kilchoman as well. I have not had a 100% Isla barley, but I do have, just bought the other day, edition 6 of the Isla barley. So my current Kilchoman stash, I have Mockyer Bay cask strength. I have a single cask Oloroso sherry. I have a red wine matured. I have Loch Gorm 2019. There's another STR cask and one more, and I just can't remember which one it is offhand. But I've pretty much, for the most part, liked all the Kilchomans. I can't wait to open the single cask sherry that I got. That one is going to be really, really exciting. The red wine has been a little disappointing. The Mockyer Bay cask strength, which is freaking incredible. One of my favorite peated whiskeys. The STR I haven't opened yet. The Loch Gorm 2019 I haven't opened yet, but I'm going to open that like in the next few days because I've had Loch Gorm. I've had the Sanag, which I didn't love quite as much. But yeah, Kilchoman, I'm a big fan. Looking forward to that Isla barley too, or the 100% Isla, which I've never had before. So that's going to be a new one. I'm super stoked about that. Rob Klomstra, Aaron, Compass Box, Ballblair, and Springbank are my main focuses, and Amrut too. Okay, so Aaron is one that I'm pretty ignorant on. I have a bottle of the Macramore, which is one of their peated ones. I've had no other Aarons other than that. I will say I really like it though. Compass Box, can't complain. I like everything Compass Box has done. I think they're some of the more interesting whiskeys. I've had the Peat Monster. I've had the Spice Tree, which is one of my favorites of all time. What other? Oh, the Great King Streets, the Glasgow and the Great Artist Blend, which are like $30 bottles of Compass Box, are just awesome. Some of my favorites, and they're super cheap. I've had not the No Name, the Lost Blend. I think I might have one other Compass Box too. Oh, I have Flaming Heart, which is great. That's a more peated one. Richie Z is in the house. Richie, good to see you, buddy. Cheers. I'm raising a glass of Deanstone Bordeaux to you, my friend. He says hello and dram friends. It's always a party with Richie Z in the house. Good to see you, buddy. Dunner Pass, Brooklotti, Port Charlotte 10 is around $68 and very good stuff. I have not had the age statement Port Charlotte. I've had the Scottish barley, which was really good. And I have the Isla barley, which, God, I still haven't opened. I have some bottles I just haven't opened yet. I really got to get around to it. I don't know why I buy stuff and then not open it right away. Sometimes it's just this weird reflex where you're like, you don't want so many bottles open at once or something, but I don't have a good reason for it. I should just open that thing. The Port Charlotte stuff is great. I have heard great things about the Port Charlotte 10 because now they have an age statement on it. 50% ABV, I think, on that Port Charlotte. Yeah, they're making great peated whiskey. Brooklotti has been doing just so much amazing stuff. The Black Art is, I have a couple bottles of the Black Art 4.1, probably my favorite whiskey ever. Yeah, everything Brooklotti's been doing for the most part has been great. I don't know. They've made a name for themselves. You really can't go wrong. I would love to try that Port Charlotte 10. I'm glad to hear it's good. Andrew Page, have you tried a Kilchoman single cask? Had several 10 to 11-year-old bottlings from them. Cask strength. My favorite whiskey as of yet. I have not. I have a bottle of a Brooklotti, a Kilchoman single cask sherry, but it is not that old. I want to say it's only like 6 years old. So I don't know where you're finding these 10 to 11-year-old bottlings, but that's amazing. I would love to try any of those at some point in time. I'm curious, are those all sherry cask, or are they more like Mocker Bay bourbon cask type? Would love to hear more about that. Donner passes, hey Richie saying hi to the crew. Rob Klomstra, I had the Lafroig PX, which was a 1 liter travel exclusive, and it is tied for my least favorite Scotch to date. Whoa! I had the PX. I tried it in a bar. I thought it was pretty good. My least favorite Lafroig by far is also a travel exclusive, and it's called the 4 Oak. I was a real big fan of the Lafroig Triple Wood, and it's not chill filtered. It's got a sherry. There's some sherry maturation in it. And so I'm like, wow, 4 Oak, this is going to be amazing. It's 40% ABV. It was a 1 liter bottle. It's piss water. I've never been more disappointed in a Lafroig than that one. I can't tell you how bummed I was about that. And I should have known better. I mean, travel exclusives are so hit and miss. Yeah. If you're ever doing travel exclusive and you're looking at a Lafroig, avoid the 4 Oak. You're going to be disappointed. The Lafroig 10 is light years better than the Lafroig 4 Oak. I can't think of any Lafroig that's worse than the 4 Oak. So I'm a little surprised to hear that about the PX, but I totally sympathize when it comes to the travel exclusive stuff. It's just not great. Andrew Page says, Port Charlotte 10 is great, 30 more than the Ardbeg 10, but worth it for the difference in craft. Oh, interesting. Yeah, it is a little bit pricier, isn't it? Yeah, I just haven't found a bottle of it yet. I don't see it as frequently as I assumed I would, but I've heard a lot of ringing endorsements, and yours is another one right here, so I'm glad to hear that. Richie Z at Malt Muser Whiskey Reviews. Eric, have you tried or have the Spice Tree Extravaganza? I love the Spice Tree, but the Extravaganza is a few notches better. I bought one. It's now empty, but need another. I have not had the Extravaganza. I've seen it. It was like, I think it was over $100. And God, I love the Spice Tree. And I want to try it. it's been one of those that I see, and usually when I'm going out shopping, I'm not looking, maybe I'm going to spend $200. And so I'll buy something that's like, a little bit over 100, and then maybe something that's, 70, $60. And so that one it's been there a few times. I've just not pulled the trigger. I wasn't quite sure what to expect from it that would be that much different than the Spice Tree. But it sounds like it is. And I love the Spice Tree. And so I'm not surprised to hear that it's better. And maybe I need to bump that up a little bit on my list. So cheers for the plug on that, Richie. Donner Pass says, good picture up, clumps of Springbank and Aaron. Yeah, I'd be curious to hear about some more Aaron whiskeys that you all recommend. I just don't know enough about their releases. Like I said, I have a Macra Moore, which is it's a heavily peated. I think it's like a cast strength too, or no, maybe it's just 46%. I'm not sure, but it's really good. It's different. It reminds me more of Kalila in terms of its style. It's a little bit more citrusy, fruity, floral. Like much more actually than Kalila, but I really enjoy it. If y'all can give me just a minute, I'm gonna go blank for a second. Ben Demon Hunter's in the house. Good to see you, buddy. I just need to run and refill my water. So I'm going to be back in just a second. Y'all just chill for a minute. All right, I'm back. Thanks for hanging out for just a second. I have to, got to keep the water going, man. Before you know it, you'll be like 3 drams in and realize you haven't had any water, and it can get a little dehydrated. Donner Pass is taking a quig. Yeah, I probably should have done that while I was over there, but maybe I'll do that soon. Richie Z says, you won't regret it. I have to buy my second one secondary. Are you talking about the extravaganza? Let me just take a quick look. I got to know about this now. I mean, you're piquing my interest. Spice Tree Extravaganza. So what is the major difference? Do you know? So I'm seeing it here. Okay. 100, 110, 120. And you're saying it's worth, wow, 150 even. Damn. That might be a little too much. This one might be something to look for. What's the top price you think you would pay for a bottle of this extravaganza? I'm curious. I'm definitely interested, but that's double the price of the regular, so I'd be curious what you think. Hey, Ben. Rishi says, hey to Ben Demon Hunter. What was Eric talking about picking up? Just got here. Oh, we're talking about Compass Box Spice Tree Extravaganza. So I don't remember who said that they were a Compass Box. Oh yeah, Rob, Compass Box fan. I got a great Compass Box story to tell you. I think I might have mentioned this on a live stream before, but I'm going to bring it up again. So I went to, as part of the Philadelphia Whiskey Society, we had a guy named Robin Robinson who used to be the brand ambassador for Compass Box. He was promoting his new book, doing a tasting with us. And so he brought a bottle to the tasting, and it was a bottle of Compass Box Hedonism. And the story went, there was something special about this bottle of Hedonism. And so, as you know, Hedonism is a single grain whiskey, or it's a blended grain, one of the two. It's not a single malt. And so when Compass Box had first started doing their whiskey, they were bottling it in a different, offsite, different distillery. And so what happened was, he's over here in the US promoting Compass Box, and he gets a phone call. And it's from John Glazer's folks. And he said, hey, we have a bunch of line numbers here that we need you to go down to New Jersey and pull these boxes of Hedonism off the shipping because they can't be sold. And he was like, well, why not? He said, because these bottles, when we were putting them through the lines hadn't been completely clear, and some of them got mixed in with some lines that were bottling Glenfarclas 25. And as you know, legally, since it's a single grain whiskey, because there was Glenfarclas mixed in even a little bit with the Hedonism, it would make it not a single grain whiskey, but a blended malt or a blended grain, right? Because so now you have a single malt mixing in with the single grain whiskey. So he had to go down to this place, this warehouse in Jersey, to get these boxes of Hedonism that had been tainted with Glenfarclas 25-year-old and destroy it. He says he was told to destroy it. He didn't destroy it. He kept the bottles. And so he poured for us some samples of one of the bottles. He's got a few left of the of a Compass Box Hedonism that has a slight note of Glenfarclas 25 in it. And so we got to all drink some illegal Compass Box Hedonism that had a slight little influence of Glenfarclas 25 sherry cask. And he's the only one he says he's the only one that has bottles of this. And he's still got a few left in a box in his basement. And he brings them to things like the event that I was at and shares it with folks and tells a story, which is a cool story. And so, yeah, I got to try a very illegal and interesting Compass Box. I could notice a little bit of the flavor difference. You could definitely tell there was a little bit more of a fruit note in that. Because, Compass Box Hedonism is a heavy, just vanilla forward whiskey. But this one had a bit of a fruit note to it. And so that's the story. Got to try a tainted Hedonism with Glenfarclas 25 in it. Okay, let me catch up on the chat here. And getting close to the end of this Deanstone 2008 Bordeaux cask, and I think the next thing is going to be some Ardbeg Black. Okay. Ben Demon Hunter saying hi to everybody. Richie Z says, not sure on the specs, bro. Just buy it. Oh, you're talking about the extravaganza. All right, I'm going to do it. Folks saying hi to each other. Richie Z says, to me, it's worth around 150 easy. Wow. Richie Z with the ringing endorsement of the Compass Box Spice Tree Extravaganza. All right, man, you're getting me fired up about it. I got to check it out. Ben Demon Hunter to Rob says, I'm relaxing. Had a small dram of Ardbeg 10, my second from the bottle. Great pour. Jason Coates says, destroy it with my liver. Richie Z said, I've yet to have Hedonism. Is it worth $99? I've enjoyed a few single grain indie bottles, but they are 25 years older. I am a huge fan of the Hedonism. It is very much a dessert-like vanilla bomb, but in a lot of good ways, and it has kind of that grain quality to it but I would say that in a good way. Some folks would potentially define the grain note as negative, but it's amazing. I'm a real big fan of the Hedonism. Is it worth $99? Yeah, I think so. It's not a super complex whiskey, but it's really good at what it does. Jason Coates says it's pretty awesome. What is silly waste because of a technicality? Yeah, seriously, Ben. I mean, but this is the legalities of it all and all that, I guess. Rob Klompster says, for Aaron, just started with their core range, the 10, 14, which is discontinued, and the 18. All are amazing in my opinion. One Aaron I did have that wasn't a huge fan of was the Amar one. Okay, interesting. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know much about Aaron, but I'll definitely check that out. I mean, I didn't even know they had age statement stuff. All I've had is Makar Moore. Cool. Thanks for the plug, Rob. Jason Coe says, personally, I didn't like the hedonism. Oh, right on. Yeah, I mean, it might not be one that floats everybody's boat. I think Rob, or pardon me, Jason, you'd probably describe it similar, that it was kind of a vanilla bomb. It does have a unique flavor because it is a grain whiskey, not a malt whiskey. But I personally really liked it. I must have reviewed that over a year and a half ago. I do recommend it to folks because I think it's a high quality dram. I just, like I was saying, I don't think it's the most complex dram. I don't think it's like, even after oxidization, I don't recall it really like having a lot more going on for it. It got a little more complex, but not really. But so $100, I think it is pretty solid. Grain may not be my thing. Yeah, that might be it. Ben Demon Hunter says, Ardbeg. Oh yeah, you're drinking the Ardbeg 10. Yeah, you can't go wrong with that. Andrew Page says, funny story, tried the CP Compass Box hedonism at a bar, hefty price, and wasn't quite sure if I liked it. Yeah, interesting. Seems like there's a lot of divergent opinion on the hedonism. I guess I'm not surprised. I mean, it definitely has a unique texture because of the grain nature of it. But I can't really say that it's. I mean, personally, I really liked it. I do think that the texture of it might, and just kind of the grain note quality of it might throw some folks off, especially that are into single malts. But it might be one that you want to try before you buy. I know that somebody was mentioning that they were interested in trying it. But Rob Klomstra to Ben Demon Hunter, what are your thoughts on the Ardbeg 10? Yeah, what are your thoughts on the Ardbeg 10, bud? That's enough for me. I'll try out the hedonism, says Richie. Yeah, give it a try. Maybe don't go spend $100, but Ben Demon Hunter, I think he's talking about the Ardbeg 10 here, says, I'll be brutally honest. It will need to grow on me. Just a tad letdown. I was utterly spoiled having Ugadal. It's my first peated smoke. I instant love Ugadal. Yeah, I totally get that. Ugadal is, as I was saying earlier, I don't, I'll go to bat for Ugadal any day of the week. Donner Pest said, yeah, I was thinking about hedonism. Bought a 30-year-old single grain for $90 instead and used a bunch of 18 to 21-year-old stuff from my 4-ounce library. 4-ounce library, I love it. To make a bunch of homemade blended scotches. Wow, a 30-year-old single grain for $90? Damn. Rob Klompster says I'm the exact opposite. Oh, so you're a bigger fan of the 10 than the Ugadal. Ben Demon Hunter said, but I'm not disappointed that I got Ardbeg 10 for my birthday. Oh man, yeah, you get a bottle of Ardbeg 10 for your birthday. You're living a good life, man. Somebody loves you. Richie Z, if hedonism is delicious, I'll have to give it a buy. Yeah, Richie. I don't know. Is hedonism something you can find in a bar? I'm not sure. If you got a lot of whiskey friends in your area that they might have a bottle of it, they would pour a sample for you of. It is, yeah, I mean, I really liked it. I don't know if it's a bottle I would buy again anytime soon, which maybe says something. I paid, yeah, I mean, it was close. I think I got a bottle of it for $90. Would I spend $90 again on a bottle of hedonism? Honestly, if I was thinking about it, I'd probably get Spice Tree over the hedonism, but it's still a good whiskey. Jason Coates, I'd agree. It's a vanilla bomb. Texture is light for sure. And then there's that spiky grain note, which I actually like. and a bit of like old school varnish. It's interesting. Oh, you described it better than I did even. That's a really, he's got it right. The texture is light on the hedonism. And the spiky grain note. Yeah, for sure. Boy, you're making me really want to try that again. It's a unique pour. It really is a unique pour. I can't say that there's anything quite similar. It's not a vanilla bomb in the way that like a bourbon can be a vanilla bomb. It doesn't have that like barrely influence, that kind of caramel, a little bit of cinnamon to go along with the vanilla. It is very much so a unique pour in and of itself. And I could understand that folks might not actually take to it. I personally, like I said, liked it. Would I spend another 90 to $100 on a bottle if I saw it on the shelf tomorrow? I don't know. Probably not right now, but it's not because I don't like it. It's just because it doesn't demand a rebuy. Maybe in a year or two. Yeah, I don't know. I think when I reviewed it, I probably gave it a 4 out of 5, which was a recommend buying about. Maybe I was a little bit lower, and I'm not sure. Yeah, boy, this is what it's. Things just change. When I reviewed that, it was probably well over a year ago. Would I feel the same way now? I'm not sure. I might have to revisit it. Y'all got me thinking about hedonism now. I will say this: it was a whiskey that would be great as like a dessert, post meal, just sit down, enjoy it, slow sipper. It's just sweet confectionery dessert, like good stuff. Let's see. Boy, I'm getting behind. Downer Pass says Ugadal is just so good. Yeah, totally agree. Van Diemen Hunter, easily see how Ardbeg 10 and Lagavulin 16 are entry points into peated Scotch. Yeah, for sure. Eric, my brother, we are very close, 18 months apart. Van Diemen Hunter. Oh, you're talking about age? Maybe I missed something. Rob Klompster says to Richie Z, did you like the Compass Box Extravaganza more than the Flaming Heart? I prefer Flaming Heart and would happily pay $150 for it. The Extravaganza maybe $120. Interesting. Richie Z at Malt Muser. I've had Cameron Ridge and just one Canvas, and both impressed me. So I probably will enjoy the hedonism. Oh, interesting. I've never had either of those. Yeah, Richie, I feel like based on kind of what we're talking, I think hedonism would be something you'll enjoy. That makes sense. Jason Coates said, I had it at a time that I really might not have been ready for a grain. Yeah, right. No caramel or spice. Right, exactly. Yeah, it's a unique whiskey, man. I mean, which Compass Box is kind of known for. Compass Box, I think one of their bread and butter things is kind of making these whiskeys that are a little bit off the beaten path, a little bit challenging, a little bit unexpected. And the hedonism is definitely one that does that, for sure. Deanstone, Bordeaux cask. Cannot recommend enough. All right. I am going to clean out this glass, and we're going to nightcap it with Ardbeg Black because, I feel like it fits the mood of the society we're living in right now. Things are getting darker and therefore a little bit scarier. COVID-19, all that jazz. Might as well enjoy a good single malt. Really need to find another clean glass. All right. Ardbeg Black, committee release. Oh. Let's get a little bit in there. Here we go. Oh, man. Just as good as it was when I opened it last night. Andrew Page. Hey, loved this. Great distraction. My kids will be staying home from school tomorrow due to coronavirus. I'm off to bed. Keep safe. Hey, good to see you, Andrew Page. Thanks for swinging by. Loved all the comments tonight. Stay safe out there. Keep your kids safe. Crazy days that we're living in, man. Take good care. Richie Z says, I've never had Flaming Heart, but I'm still on my peated journey. I do love every peated bottle I have. Yeah, well, Flaming Heart will definitely do it for you. Ben Demon Hunter said, since y'all are talking Compass Box, Peat Monster is an excellent entry into Compass Box world, of course. Silly question. I already know that it is based on what I've heard. Yeah, Peat Monster, good price. I will say, and it depends on where you're at, Ben, in your peat journey. It's not as much of a monster as the name proclaims. It's very good. It's unique. It's got kind of its own thing going. It's definitely a peated smoke forward Scotch in the Isla tradition. How will it stack up to that Ardbeg 10 you're drinking tonight? I'd probably still choose the Ardbeg 10 over the Peat Monster, but the Peat Monster is good. It's got a little bit more delicate notes. It's got a little bit more fruit. It's good though. Oh man. I have to tell y'all, I'm just really happy that this Ardbeg committee release didn't disappoint. As I was saying earlier, the drum kind of turned me off, and I basically written this stuff off. I was just like, I'm not buying anymore. But a good friend of mine, Telex, the Whiskey Tech, if you're not subscribed to his channel, do go check out Telex, T-E-L-E-X, the Whiskey Tech. Did a great live stream. Had just got the other night, had got a bottle of this Ardbeg Black, and got me excited about it. And boy, he's right. Pinot Noir cask finish. So it's got a wine finish. Oh, cherry notes. The cherry note on this is just amazing, and it blends so well with the smokiness. There's also some like raspberry. Actually, now I'm getting more of a red grape thing. Maybe white grape. God, it's so good. Unmistakably Ardbeg. What was the ABV again? 50.7%. Oh, man. This is a good one, y'all. Even if you don't get this committee release, when this comes out in the standard release, which will probably be 46%, you got to try it. If you like Ugadal with that sherry influence, that heavy sherry influence, God, man, this Pinot Noir finish, dude, it's killer. Killer. I'm a fan. I'm back on the committee release fanboy train for all the irreparable harm it's going to cause my pocketbook. Cheers, Andrew. Be well. Some folks saying goodbye. Great live stream, says Richie Z. Richie, man, you're always here on the lives. Love chatting with you. Thanks for swinging by. I do what I can. I'm not I'm not big into the frills. I kind of keep my whiskey channel and my stuff pretty much straight up, legit. Just my dumb 2 cents. Appreciate your support, brother. And good evening to Andrew Page, says a bunch of folks. Richie says your palate seems as open mine, which is awesome. Yeah, I try to. Ben Demon said watch your black video day. Oh, right on, man. Ben Demon Hunter, maybe 10 to 12 peated bottles. Love Ugadal and Lagavulin 16, my number 1 and number 2. Yeah, those are great. Had the Lafroig Carchus Triple Wood also on Monday. First Lafroig. I am a peat head. Welcome to the club. And if you're just getting into peat now, I'm going to tell you the next 6 months, 8 months of your life, it's going to be hard to drink other whiskeys that aren't peated, because you are just going to want that peat smoke. That is the new bar. It takes a while to kind of come back down off that off Peat Mountain and get back into other stuff. I know it was for me. You've definitely started out in an amazing place. Ugadal, amazing. Lagavulin 16, always solid. The Lefroy Cartridge Triple Wood is good. I was hoping for a little more out of it, but I still think it's a really solid whiskey. If you ever get a chance and you really want to try a peat bomb, look for the Lefroy Cartridge. It's from 2017. It's called the quarter cask at cask strength. Amazing. Probably the most intense Lefroy I've ever had. Somehow still somewhat readily available. It's in like a white tube, but it's got brown on it, which is the Cartridge. They all have kind of their own color. Dude, the Lefroy Cartridge cast strength quarter cask, just blow your mind. Richie Z says cherry notes on an Ardbeg. I'm in. Yeah. And so it actually says this on here. It says bitter cherry. And so I don't know how much it influenced my head, but I'm telling you, man, you pick up these, and it's not like that cloying artificial Pinot Noir cherry, or I'm sorry, maraschino cherry. It's like a dark Bing black cherry, man. It's so good. And it's well blended. Whereas the drum felt like there was just this rum overcoat over an Ardbeg. I personally just didn't love the drum. This one seems like they're back on track. This is a step in the right direction. I can say it's worth $140. I mean, it is. It is. If you can get this, put it on the credit card. Oh, I could just nose this for days. It's just right in my wheelhouse. Those fruit notes accented with that mineral, sea influence, earthy Ardbeg. God. Yeah, man. I think as far as a wine cask finish goes, this beats the Lagavulin 16 Distillers Edition. And this is an NAS. I mean, yeah, I think it's better. It might be better than the Ugadal. We'll see what the standard release is like when it comes out, but god damn. I'm getting more of a grape note. In my review, I didn't quite catch the grape note. I'm getting much more of a grape note now. It's like a dark red grape. Kind of with that tanginess, that tartness. Not too tart, but like a nice dark grape. Oh, and then that cherry. Man. This is a good one. Donner Pass's fun visit. Thanks. Yeah, man. Thanks for swinging by, Donner Pass. Always. Appreciate your continued support. Sláinte, brother. Ben Demon Hunter says, Ugadal was in last September. Polished up Bowmore 12 already about a month ago. Curious to hear what you think about the Bowmore 12. That one didn't really float my boat. Bowmore, I think it was like 40%. It just, it didn't quite do it for me, but I'd be curious what your thoughts were. Yeah, quarter cask CS 2017 things. Yeah, look for that. Eric, the black is going to be available at the usual places. I'll get it. So, it ain't going to be sitting on the shelf. You're going to have to ask for it. But if you got to, like I said, I stumbled into it randomly. I was in a shop that I go to. Like, I have a relationship with them, but it's not like they're like my best buds. They weren't texting me about it, letting me know it was in. I just casually asked, and he said yes. He could have easily said no. He might have been saving it for somebody, but he sold me a bottle. You're going to have to ask for it. But, man, right now, this is the time, right around this early March. This is when the committee releases start hitting the shelves. Look for it. Hopefully the non-CR will be good too. Yeah, I think it will be. I think Donner Pass, to be real with you, like this Pinot Noir finish alone, I think even at 46%, even with a little bit of water on it, I think it still stands up. This is a good Ardbeg. It doesn't fully collapse with water or something like that, you know? And that's the thing about it. Put a little bit of water on this. Giant Dr. Pepper fan said Ben Demon Hunter hated cherries growing up. Well, you might. This one will be an interesting for you if you ever get the chance to try it, because I could definitely see kind of a Dr. Peppery note in this, which, you know, I think it does have that cherry flavor. But Richie, yeah, I think as far as the committee release, you know, you got to go to those local shops and just straight up ask them. If you have a relationship or a place that you went in where they might recognize your face, might not be worth asking. But other than that, I mean, you're not going to find the committee release on the shelf. It's just unfortunate. And honestly, secondary prices of this are going to be ridiculous. They always are. They're like $250. Don't spend that much on this. It's not worth it. Wait for the regular release. The regular release you'll be able to find. Ben Demon Hunter to Donner Pass. Most likely we'll only see black regular release in my market. Where are you at, Ben Demon Hunter? Just curious. Hey, Bayou Drams is in the house. What's up, brother? Good to see you. Saying hi to the crew. We got 11 people on still. Man, I might have to stay up a little bit later. Yeah, I might give the non-CR a punt. Not likely you're going to see the CR here. Yeah, Jason, keep an eye on it. Hey, it's just booze dancing. A whole lot more music. It's just the booze dancing. Cheers. We're talking drams to avoid the unfortunate state of affairs in the world outside with this coronavirus and all the irreparable harm it is causing to folks' families, the economy, and so on and so forth. So just trying to create a safe space, right, to enjoy some drams, not have to think about the fact that, well, you know, we're in precarious times. So glad to have you here with us. Richie Z says, hey to Jason Coates. Oh, cheers. He says, cheers. Cool. Yeah, so I did post my uncorking video of the black earlier today, but if you haven't seen it yet, basically this is what it says. Our whiskey creators have rounded up the finest Pinot Noir wine casks from New Zealand to mature a celebratory dram that knits together velvety summer fruit pudding and bitter cherry with a deeper edge of soot and Ardbeg's hallmark smoke. It's truly a whiskey apart. And then they got some storyline on it. Basically, they're going for we're Ardbeg, we're kind of the black sheep, we do things our own way branding of it this year. Which, you know, fits. Ardbeg is kind of known for its idiosyncrasies. The bottle actually itself is completely solid black. So you actually you can't see through, you can't see the fill. I always find that a little bit annoying. There's some other bottles I have that are completely like this. It'd be nice if you could at least see where the fill is, but you figure you get about 13, 14 2-ounce drams out of this. I'm sure I'll be done with it sooner than I want to be, but looks like Rob Klomstra is heading out. Good night, everybody. Hey, Rob, thanks for the support. Thanks for swinging by. Take good care. It's just booze. It's just the booze dancing. Since I hear you, I'm actually in lockdown for work next week. Yeah, man. A lot of folks are. This is crazy, man. Can you believe this shit, y'all? This is crazy. Every time I turn on, you know, I log into Twitter or look at the news, it's amazing. I hope everybody is, you know, taking good heed to the, you know, what the CDC and the government is saying, because I think honestly, like, we gotta step up and make sure we're keeping ourselves safe and keeping our families safe. This is getting real, and this is something that I don't think many of us have experienced or have not experienced in quite some time. So, you know, wash your hands, wash them more than you think you should. Try not to go out in public unless you absolutely have to. And, you know, hopefully in a month or two when the weather gets warmer, maybe, you know, what some folks are saying, not all of them, but some of them are saying that, you know, hopefully much like influenza, this will taper down for a little bit when the weather gets better. We can only hope so, man. We can only hope so. But in the interim, I hope everybody's staying safe and has families staying safe. Ben Demon Hunter says he's in Alberta, Canada, not Edmonton or Calgary. So I'm probably wrong. Black CR is most likely in the province. Okay, so you're in Canada. Well, cheers. Cheers from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Ooh. Oh, there's a whole bunch in here. So I'm sorry. I'm actually falling behind. I feel like I'm Quig tonight. Bayou Drams says, ran across some High West Double Rye for $23.99 today. Had to pick it up at that price. Oh, yeah, for sure. The High West Double Rye is great. That's a great cocktail whiskey, too. Man, it's got some like ginny notes to it. That's a good one for like an old fashioned or Sazerac. Double Rye. Great whiskey. Folks saying, hey, later to Rob, it's the booze. It's just the booze dancing. Says, love Ardbeg core range, but their committee releases are way overpriced. Yeah, that's real talk. They are way overpriced. As I was saying earlier, Ardbeg Black, it's like $140 now, man. It's $20 more than they were last year. I won't lie. It's an NAOS whiskey. Paying that much when you can get an Ardbeg 10 for $55, you can get Ugadal for what, 85? Man. Unless you're an Ardbeg fanboy or you got the money to spend, I can't, you're going to do it. And honestly, I've been burned. I thought the drum, I paid $125 for a bottle of drum, and I just, the CR, and like, honestly, I have 70% of that bottle is still sitting there, and I bought that thing a year ago. I just like, I never go to it. I drink it just to like try and kill the bottle, but it's just not great. That's just the reality of it. I think a lot of folks in the whiskey community were getting a bit turned off by Ardbeg's, as some would characterize it, increasingly gimmicky committee releases. But I will tell you, I think they've redeemed themselves a little bit with the black here. This is a real good one. So, keep your eyes open for the standard release when it comes out. Unless you're a total Ardbeg fan, and we'll throw down that money. It's good. Richie's Eric, that Ardbeg sounds downright delicious. It is, man. I'm not gonna lie. It is. This one's really good. Richie Z says agreed to, or Ben Demon says agreed about the Ardbeg. Okay, yeah. Then again, I'd love get a bottle of the Alligator. Says it's just booze. Yeah, good luck. If you ever find a bottle of Alligator, that'd be amazing. So as far as Ardbegs go, I have not had some of those really early releases of their committee stuff. I've had, what Ardbegs do I have? 10, Ugadal, Corey Vrecken, Anno. Committee release of the Black, Kelpie, Grooves, and Drum. I have the standard release Dark Cove and the Aura Verdes. I've not had Supernova. I've not had Alligator. I've not had Galileo. I've not had Roller Coaster. Those are all just too much money in secondary market, but boy, I'd love to try them all. They sound amazing. I've never had Ardbeg. Bayou Dram says caution is appropriate, but the hysteria is out of control. Oh, are you talking about coronavirus? Yeah, I mean, maintaining a healthy balance between smart preparedness, but not like, freaking out too much is important. Always overwashed my hands, says Ben Demon Hunter. Well, it's working out for you. Agreed. High West Double Rye, great value, beautiful bottle, says Booze Dancing. Yeah, totally. Eric, have you ever had Ardbeg Dark Cove? I have a bottle, but it's a birthday gift for a whiskey buddy. I had a bottle which I emptied, but was one of the best scotches I ever had, says Rashid. So I'm getting an itchy nose. Sorry, folks. I have a bottle of the Dark Cove standard release, which I was randomly found by a friend of mine. No, with my brother. Randomly found it on a shelf at Binny's in Illinois and Chicago last year. So I have that bottle. I have had the committee release in a bar. I think the Dark Cove is probably the best Ardbeg I've had. The committee release was just amazing. I don't remember what the finish was on that, but man, yeah, the Ardbeg Dark Cove is stuff of legend, and yeah, it's a fantastic dram. Absolutely love it. If you ever find it, buy it immediately. Don't hesitate. It's worth every penny. Even if you don't drink it, you could give it away on secondary market. Probably make yourself a few bucks, because I'll buy it, and I know a bunch of other people that will. Yeah, the Dark Cove is awesome. There's just no doubt about it. I think it's better than the Kelpie. It's better than the Grooves. It's much better than the Drum. Probably better than this Black, although I will say this Black is really good. Yeah, Dark Cove, fantastic Ardbeg. Bayou Gems. If I wasn't out of Campari, I would try this double Rhina Boulevardier. Yeah, dude, absolutely. You're thinking absolutely right. Richie says, I might have to add you, Eric, to my birthday bottle list. Ooh, I'm intrigued. Tell me about that. Richie, I forget, I know I'm going to sound ignorant, but are you in Ohio? We should definitely connect over email. I mean, regardless of where you are in the States, because I mean, if you're ever interested in swapping samples, I'd love to do that. But we should do that for sure. We should definitely connect. If you ever want to email me, I'm at malt.muser, muser @gmail.com. Richie Z's Van Diemen Hunter says, only had Ardbeg 10 and Ugadal. Absolutely want to have whatever Ardbegs I can get my hands on, or my brother. Yeah. Since you've had Ugadal and 10, what I will tell you is you have to try the Corey Vrecken. Corey Vrecken is one of the most intense whiskeys I've ever had. It's super spicy. It's super smoky. I don't think it's as good as the Ugadal, but it's really intense, just worth exploring. As far as Ardbeg's core range, the only other one that you haven't had is the NO. And honestly, since you've had the 10 and the Ugadal, I would avoid the NO. The NO is a little bit of a disappointment. It was one of my first whiskey reviews. You could probably find it on my channel. The NO, it's lighter. It wasn't quite didn't really quite have the intensity. And based on where you're talking about where you are in your peat journey, Ben, I think you can go without the NO. It's just, I mean, it's gonna, it's gonna be $65, $70 that you're gonna say to yourself, shit, I should have just spent 15 more and got the Corey Vrecken, or another bottle of Oaky. Yeah, the NO just, it's okay. It's not a bad whiskey. It's just not worth your money considering where you are. NO is something I would recommend before somebody tries Ugadal. It's just not going to be worth you spending 70 some bucks on when the alternatives are just better. It's just not. I was really excited when it came out. I don't remember all the finish, the way it was aged, but I was really excited about it, and it disappointed. It just, Ardbeg has a profile and a style and an expectation of intensity, heavy peat, those earthy seaweed tones that just, you want an intense Ardbeg experience. I think the NO is bottled at 46%. Oogie is what, 50 something percent. So is a Corey Vrecken. It was less ABV. It was almost like it was like a diet Ardbeg, or like an introductory Ardbeg. I had a bottle. I've never went back to it. After I finished it, I've never drank it again. I probably never will. It's just not amazing. So avoid the NO. Your next bet on the Ardbeg in terms of core range is get the Corey Vrecken. Bayou Drams. I think it's hilarious that Netflix just added Outbreak. Oh, capitalism, man. They know what people want to click. How much was the Dark Cove regular release, says Ben Demon Hunter, in American? So I got it for 100 or less than 100, but that was a unicorn. It was an anomaly. I think if you try to buy a bottle of Dark Cove now, it is all secondary market. It's going to be, for the non-CR, 170, 180, for the CR, $400. Richie Z's in California. Oh, gotcha. Yeah, that's right. Bayou Dreams. I had the NO and the Corey Vrecken. Never tried the Oogie, but it's definitely on my list. Yeah, Oogie's my favorite. I don't think Ardbeg has ever done anything that's demonstrably better than the 10 or the Ugadal. I think Corey Vrecken is really, really good, but I don't think it's like a step above Ugadal. And I think NO is a step below Ugadal for sure. Corey Vrecken is just more intense. I think it has European oak cask, so it's got a bit more like intensity and spice to it, but it's not Ugadal is the best of their core range, followed by 10. Corey Vrecken's right there, and then NO is a distant fourth. Let's see. Ben Demon Hunter for an Ardbeg, Corey Vrecken 100%. I'd want my own Ugadal then and NO. Thanks. Yeah. Like I said, depending on where you're at, I think NO you can avoid. Get Corey Vrecken, get Ugadal. Corey Vrecken will obviously be the next one. Yeah, dude, you gotta. If you've not had the Ugadal or the Corey Vrecken, man, you got to do it. I don't know if it's as good as this Ardbeg Black, but it's worth it. Montreal's in the house. What's up, Gerbil and Blue? Dude, man, we're just trying to survive COVID-19 here, man. Hanging out. Had a little what have we all drank tonight so far? Larceny Barrel Proof, Deanstone 2008 Bordeaux red wine matured, Glenmorangie Catball Estate local barley looking thing, and now I'm sipping a little Ardbeg Black, which I'm actually going to have a little bit more of. What's going on with you, Malted? Everybody's saying hi to you. You got work tomorrow? Or are they shutting everything down in Canada too? It's just the booze dancing. Says never bought off secondary market. If you want unique and special stuff, quality independent bottlers are the way to go. Yeah. I've bought off secondary market. I bought a couple things off secondary market, usually through like some of the Facebook groups before they kind of all got shut down early last year. I got a couple good bottles, some Lefroy 18s. I got a Bunnahabhain Bordeaux, a couple other ones. Secondary market can be fine, but you just got to like really be conscious of the price. It's just the way it goes. Hey, Swami, sup, Richie? We're talking Ardbeg right now, man. We got some Ardbeg noobs in the house. We've had some Ugadal. We've had some 10. We're talking about the NO. Love to hear what you think about the NO, Malted. Just boozing. Oh, wait. Where am I at? Bayou Drams. The Ardbeg 10 and the Lefroy 10 are probably 80% of the Islas are good. Yeah, I mean, you can't go wrong with either of those. The only other ones I'd say you consider as far as like those entry-level range Islas, Kilholman, Mockyer Bay, Port Charlotte 10, Kalila 12, maybe. I don't know. Kalila 12 is all right. I'd say like the other two that I think would round that out for you real nice by you would be Port Charlotte 10, Kilholman, Mockyer Bay, and Lagavulin 16 or Lagavulin 8 even. Good intros. Ardbeg 10. Oh, wait. Everybody in the bar had their own bottle of Purell tonight. Yeah, man. Shit's getting real out there. How are you? I mean, are you guys seeing like less? Are people starting like getting less business? Maybe it's a little too early for you, man. I hope things stay busy enough for you, Swami. With everybody staying home, folks just got to go in there, wash their hands with some, get a bottle of that Everclear behind the bar. Everybody will be straight. Forget the Purell. At least get a 60% ABV whiskey. They'll be fine. I have an unopened Lagavulin 18 in the cabinet that said, oh man, is it green label or white label? Malted Montreal says it's all right. I'm not in love with any Ardbeg. Ooh, contrarian. I'm on Team 10 Ardbeg wise, says Jason Coates. Interesting. I don't know if I think the only Ardbeg I'm in love with is and again, I haven't had a bottle of it in 6 to 8 months, which was the Ugadal. I think it was my favorite. I mean, it was a Scotch that was like it was a mind blowing experience the first time I had it, and yeah, it's probably been 6 to 8 months. I don't know how I feel about it now. I've been pretty disappointed in the CR. I thought the grooves was all right. I thought the drum sucked. Luckily I randomly ran into a bottle of this Ardbeg Black, which I actually really like. It's this Pinot Noir finish. It's freaking fantastic. And I'm glad to see that because had I not been told it was good, I would have passed on it just because I thought the drum was such a mediocre whiskey. And I thought the grooves was good. The Kelpie was so-so. So they've been kind of hit and miss on that. Malton Montreal says we only have 7 cases of Corona in all of Quebec. Oh, good deal. Ben Demion, anyone else had Portiscag 100 proof? Portiscag. Brother and his friend had it for the first time on Monday and absolutely loved it. I have not had the Portiscag. Maybe some folks here have. Bayou Dram said a month ago I picked up 2 bottles of Lagavulin 9 and GOT edition on clearance for 25 a piece. Really? Jesus. $25 a piece? Man, that's a fucking steal. Funny, I bought a Green Label 18 in PA around 8 years ago. I think it was $60. Oh, you're talking about Lafroig 18. Yeah, man. I have a couple of, dude, you can't find Lafroig 18 less than 190 on secondary market now. So, man, I have a couple Green Labels. I have a couple white labels too. I think Lafroig 18 is fucking awesome, but they, you can't find it anywhere. So if you got it, crack it and enjoy it because that's a whiskey most folks can get their hands on these days. Ben Demon Hunter, how's the Lagavulin 9? Brother's favorite is the 16. Wants to pick up the 9. I've only actually had the Lagavulin. I had a sample of Lagavulin 9. I thought it was solid. I still think the 8 is better. The 8 you can get for like $40-50. It's not. It doesn't have the complexity of like the 16 or the 12 or the Distillers edition or nothing like that. It's more of a youthy, straight up peat bomb, but it's good. Lagavulin don't make a bad whiskey. I defy anybody to show me a bad Lagavulin. I think there are some that aren't great or aren't as impressive as this. Like the Lagavulin 11 Offerman edition was like good, but I don't think it's anything better than the 16. I don't think it's better than the 12 cast strength, but it's not bad, man. There ain't a bad Lagavulin. Eric, a lot of restaurants and bars don't have Glencairn glasses, which is sad. Yeah, man. I don't know. The Glencairn thing, it's like I drink mostly out of these just because like they're always sitting out because I'm doing like reviews or tastings, but like, man, I got this like Glengoyne glass. I'll just assume drink whiskey out of this after I've done a tasting, unless I'm doing a tasting or a review, I don't got to drink out of this every day. The only reason I'm not using it now is because I've had like 4 different whiskeys in this, and I'm not trying to mess up the style of this Ardbeg Black. But I don't know. Unless you're trying to do a tasting, like a straight up real whiskey bar is going to have some tasting glasses. Other than that, you're just going to have one of your regular drams. I ain't pouring my Ardbeg 10 or, Glenmorangie Portwood. I'm not pouring it in a tasting glass. I'll just throw it in a regular glass. Portiscag is really nice. The Whisky Exchange guys own it. Oh, no kidding. I don't know anything about Portiscag, so y'all are educating me on that. Bayou Dram says, I've never had the 16, but I hear the 9's flavor profile is a lot closer to the 16 than the 8. It is nowhere near as complex as the 16. Oh, you're talking about Lagavulin? Yeah, that makes sense. I'm not really sure what to tell you about the that's a Game of Thrones, the 9. Again, man, I just like Lagavulin's not my favorite distillery. It's not one of my go-tos. I'm not a fanboy of Lagavulin, but I'll tell you, like, I've never had a bad Lagavulin. The 12 is great. The 16 is a 16. It's a classic. Anybody that hates on that's full of shit. The 8 is solid. It's a good expression for a youthful whiskey. The 11 Offerman is fine. Still a good whiskey. I think that they did and then that 9 Game of Thrones, it's like, of all those Game of Thrones whiskeys, that's probably the best one. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't say it's a whiskey worth hyping over, but I'd love to hear a comparison of the 8 and the 9. I don't think the finishes are any different. I think they're all ex-bourbon. Again, man, Lagavulin don't make a bad whiskey. Lagavulin 16 is the only lag we've ever had since Bendino. Yeah, man. I mean, I think it's varied in quality. I'm sure Lagavulin 16 from, a bottle release now ain't as good as it was 10 years ago. You're always going to run into these cats that are going to tell you that. But, like, don't let them dissuade you and try and tell you Lagavulin 16 ain't any good. It's good. All that's just, like, it's fanboy hype. Ben Demon Roy Akavite has a V-pub comparing the 8-9 and said exactly that. Oh, interesting. Well, I got to check that out. I have not seen that. Yeah, I honestly don't have strong recollection of that Lagavulin 9. I went to a bar once, right when all that Game of Thrones stuff came out. They had like 8 of the bottles, and you could put together a flight for like $20 where you get a 1 ounce pour of everything. So I did the Talisker, I did the Lagavulin, I did the Royal. No, I didn't do the Royal Lochner. I did the Oban, and I did the Dalwhinnie, I think. They were all fine. I didn't really get on the like train of, buying all the Game of Thrones stuff or anything like that. But the Lagavulin 9 was the one that I thought was the best out of it. Again, they don't make a bad whiskey. Like, I defy anybody to show me a bad Lagavulin. I don't think they exist. I mean, there's no equivalent to the Ardbeg NO for Lagavulin. I think Lagavulin's consistently makes good stuff. It's just not it doesn't blow my mind. I mean, they're just not a distillery that I'm like, I'm more interested in Kilchoman. I'm more interested in, even Ardbeg or Lefroy. I've just never been a super Lagavulin guy, but their distiller's edition is great. 16-year-old with a PX finish. Fuck out of here if you're trying to tell me that ain't good. The 11 Offerman, solid. 16, classic. 8, great value. The 12, cast rank, too expensive, but if you can get a good price on it, pick it up. It's a great whiskey. And I've never had any of their like fee seal releases or their, I think there's like a 25 or something, but I'm not going to ever hate on Lagavulin. It's just not my go-to. Somebody new in the house. Oboitaku. I don't know if I'm saying your name right. Maybe you can spell it out phonetically. Laga 16 has got me into this rabbit hole, so I love and hate the brand at the same time. Yeah, man, there's no hating on the Lagavulin 16, but I'd be curious to hear what's got you hating the brand. Is it because you can't find something better? I got a few recommendations if you need some. Jason Coates says the 9 is interesting. Richie Z. Eric, do you own any of the Game of Thrones bottles? I only have Clynelish and Dalwhinnie, but want the new Mortlock Eaters Game of Thrones. I don't have any of them. I've tried some at a bar. I've seen the Oban, which I would consider buying. I'd probably consider buying the Lagavulin, but again, like there's a price they put on those because of the marketing. Maybe they're coming down now that there's not so much hype, but when those came out, I thought they were all overpriced. Most of them were NAS. I think all of them were, with the exception. Maybe the Dalwhinnie wasn't. The Lagavulin obviously wasn't. This is like, I don't know. I wasn't going to like spend $800 to get this Game of Thrones collection. It's just not really my thing, but it's not that they're all bad whiskeys. It's just that I just wasn't going to spend the money on it. That said, I'm sure they're not bad. I haven't had them all, but Jason Coates, I get this herbal and almost acidic side to it. It makes it unique to me. Are you talking about the Lagavulin 9? Oh, interesting. How is that Dalwhinnie Game of Thrones, or is the regular 15? I haven't had either. Yeah, dude, Dalwhinnie 15 is Dalwhinnie 15 is a standard. You can't go wrong with it. They also have Dalwhinnie also has a because they're Diageo, they have a distillers edition. I think it's what is the finish on that Dalwhinnie distillers edition? It's not a bad price if you can find it. Let me take a look quick. Dalwhinnie distillers edition. For what it's worth, I like the Dalwhinnie 15 fine. I don't know if I'd buy another bottle, but yeah, you can get this Dalwhinnie distillers edition at pretty good prices. What's the finish they do on this? It's Oloroso. It's finished in Oloroso. So it's basically the Dalwhinnie 15 finished in Oloroso. That's 16 years old. That don't sound bad. 43% ABV. That doesn't sound bad. That Dalwhinnie Distillers Edition might be worth checking out. Interesting. Very interesting. Never had it. Dalwhinnie 15, a.k.a. the Honey Bear. Can't go wrong with it. Ben Demon Hunter. Oh, yeah, we got that. So, Bayou Gems. I think the next thing I pick up might be the Wee Laddie collection. It's 200 ml bottle of classic Laddie Isla Barley in Port Charlotte for $60. That sounds great. If you've never had any of those Brook Laddies, yeah, that's a great 200 ml sampler. Classic Laddie is solid. Isla Barley, fantastic. Port Charlotte, can't go wrong. That's a great $60, 200 ml a piece. Yeah, man. You want an intro into all of Brook Laddie's stuff. That's a good one. I enjoy Dalwhinnie, but it's a light dram. I don't any others. It is a light dram. The Dalwhinnie 15 I had a long time ago. Dalwhinnie 15 is one of those whiskeys that, like, if you have somebody in your life that you're trying to introduce to Scotch and they just hate it, they try to tell you how much they hate Scotch, Dalwhinnie 15 is the one that might change their mind. It's super sweet and sticky. Honey Bear, man. It's just freaking honey. That thing, that'll make people who say they hate Scotch think about it twice. It's good for that. I don't think it's a bottle I would buy again. It was good to have once. Although this Distillers Edition, an Oloroso finish on that sounds sort of interesting. But yeah, the Dalwhinnie 15, it's a classic, man. I'm not gonna, nobody should hate on it. It's good. So I think it might be one that would be worth it. Eric, Richie Z says, Eric, have you ever had any of the Bens? I've had 3 Ben Riach, all fantastic. I have never had any of the Bens. I've had no Ben Riach and I've had no Ben Romick, which sucks. I really want to try those. Actually, no, that's a lie. I had a Ben Riach. It was a single cask. The Ben Riach was it's called That Boutique Whiskey Company. They do single casks. I had a Ben Riach. It was like a 13-year. It was solid, but I'm ignorant about Ben Romick and Ben Riach. I've not had really any of those. I've heard a lot of good things about the Ben Romick 15. I've heard good things about the Ben Riach, or is it Ben Romick Organic? There's also one that's like the Ben Riach Peat Smoke. I've heard good things. I just haven't got around to it, man. Yeah, there's just so many damn whiskeys, so many, so little time. But happy to take any recommendations if you got it. I'd love to hear if any of you have had that Ben Romick 15. That's one I've heard good things about. I'm thinking I might stick around for a little while tonight. This is going well. I don't know where to go after this Ardbeg Black. I'll tell you that much. I don't know where to go after this. This whiskey is, yeah, cherry. It's Ardbeg 10 with a black cherry, raspberry, grape, earthy, salty finish. Freaking great. They may have redeemed themselves with this one after that Ardbeg drum, which didn't really do much for me. All right. I've tried everything up here but the Red Best 12 cask strength, which honestly I'm just not feeling right now. I actually got an idea what I'm going to... Last dram of the night is going to be... One second. There it is. Kilhoman Mocker Bay cask strength. This is what is this thing bottled at? This one is not easy to find. It's from this, I think they did this thing called the Meet the Pete Tour 2019 when they were jumping around the States. 58.6% ABV. Yeah. This is the way we're gonna close things up tonight. Mocker Bay, cask strength, can't go wrong. I think it's the only thing that might be able to stand up to this Ardbeg Black. Let me clean this glass out real quick. Man, we still got 9 folks going on. Am I the only one not working tomorrow? Maybe y'all are in different time zones. What time is it? Oh, wow. 12:20 East Coast time. 12:20 Philly time. All right. Cool. So we'll sip on this for a little bit. Let me catch up on the chat here. Ben Demon Hunter says, sounds right up my alley for Brook Lottie 200 ml bottles. Yeah. Vanessa Kitty's in the house. Vanessa, what's up? Cheers. Happy Thursday. Well, Friday. Ben Nevis 10 has been highly recommended to me by Jason Coates, Benjamin Eves, and a friend of mine. I have a bottle of the Ben Nevis 10. I've just not opened it. King of the Ben, says Jason Coates. Folks saying hi to Jason, Vanessa Kitty. Jack Gamer 1243. Pete Smoke is a space side with smoke. Certainly not Isla. Oh, you're talking about that Ben Romick. Good to see you, Jack. Thanks for joining us tonight. Yeah, I'm ignorant about that. I'm not quite sure. Richie Z says to Ben Demon Hunter, I've only ever owned an indie Ben Nevis, single cast nation, 22-year-old Ben Nevis, aged next year. Damn, that sounds good. Ben Demon Hunter says, yeah, when I first got into Scotch, I found Glenmorangie Sampler. Had 100 ml of each original Lasanta, Quinta Rubin, and Nectar Door. Damn, that's nice. That's really good. So this Kilhoman Mocker Bay cask strength, this is a nice bookend to that, the Ardbeg Black. This is really, really good. This one you can... If you live in a shipping state, you can find it. They have, there's a shop called Ace Spirits that I think might have a bottle or two of this left, maybe a few more than that. I think I got 2 of them, but man, you can't go wrong with Mocker Bay at cask strength. And Kilhoman's just freaking great in general. I got a bunch of Kilhomans lately. So we'll put that up. Let me catch up here. Oh shit, Telex is in the house. Hey y'all. Everybody should give a shout out to Telex. If you haven't subbed Telex, the Whiskey Text channel, do it. Telex did a great live stream a couple nights ago about the Ardbeg Black committee release. Was definitely put that thing back on my radar. And then luckily the next day I found one. So do give him a sub. If you have yet to, he does some great stuff. I think every Tuesday night, Telex, you can correct me if I'm wrong. Just sits down, has a nice chill conversation about a couple drams. He's got great taste, loves his peat smoke stuff, Kilhomans, Ardbegs, Lafroigs. Always has some good stuff to taste. I met him a couple of years ago when I was living down in DC. We've been chatting whiskey for a while, so give him a sub if you haven't to. He's fantastic. Cheers, Telex. Good to see you, buddy. Ben Demon Hunter. Very interested in Quinta Rubin. Yeah, you should be. Quinta Rubin 14, awesome. Quinta Rubin 12, also really good. You can't go wrong with Glenmorangie. As I was drinking earlier, this one, if you haven't seen this one yet, this is the Glenmorangie 15 Catball Estate. Keep your eyes peeled for this. It's supposedly limited edition, but you can find it. I'm starting to see it everywhere on the shelves here in southeast PA and in New Jersey. It's good. I got a review coming up for it relatively soon. Richie saying, hey to Vanessa Kitty. A boy Teku says, which Kilhomans are your favorites? This is a great question. I've had a decent amount of Kilhoman. I have a single cask sherry That one's good. I have a red wine cask matured. That one is okay. I wanted a little bit more. I have an STR I haven't opened yet. 100% Isla I haven't opened yet. Saneg, okay. Lochgorm, really good. I have the original cast strength, also really good. Mocker Bay cast strength, awesome. So I think, yeah, honestly, my favorite Kilhoman is this Mocker Bay cast strength, but I recognize that that's not one that you can find everywhere. So I would say probably the Lochgorm. As far as their like standard everyday or their core range releases, Lochgorm. That one is 100% sherry. The Saneg is like, I think it's like a 60-40 split between sherry and bourbon, 70-30, something like that. The Mocker Bay is all bourbon. Yeah, I think that's right. I don't know, man. I really think you can't go wrong with Kilhoman in general. I think that seldom do they disappoint. The red wine cask matured that I have is not quite as good as I thought, but I have to give it more time. I'm just not willing to like go too far on my description of it yet. But yeah, they're up and coming. I think that like Kilhoman is one of these distilleries that's going to be is continually one of the more interesting distilleries. The SDR cask, which is these like shaved toasted cask. I'm really excited to open that bottle. But yeah, I think if you're going to just like first getting into Kilhoman and want to know what to try the Mocker Bay. Even though standard release Mocker Bay is good, if you can find the Mocker Bay cast strength, go for it. Buy it immediately. And then the Lochgorm. The Lochgorm is just freaking awesome. It does vary year to year based on its the batch. Some batches are better than others, but you can't go wrong with the Lochgorm. Let's see here. I regret every Ben Nevis I haven't bought since Jason Coates yet. Telex says, good to see you as a finishing off my Kilkerran 15 Oloroso. Sad to see it go. God, the fact that you even got a 15-year-old Kilkerran Oloroso is amazing. What did that thing cost you? I'd be curious to know. I haven't been able to find that anywhere around me in Philly. My wallet's so empty today, says Richie to Jason Coates. Yeah, man, that's real talk. Some are a bit pricey for me, but I do the best when I see one. Jason Coates. Ben says to Eric, which Kilhoman to get first, Mocker Bay or Saneg? Mocker Bay. Mocker Bay is cheaper. I think the Saneg is just, it's not their best. I would say either spend the $50 and get the Mocker Bay, or save your money if you want a sherry influence and get the Lochgorm. I think the Saneg is like kind of the redheaded stepchild, as they would say. The Lochgorm is just so much better. So if you want the sherry, get the Lochgorm. Otherwise, Mocker Bay, standard. Can't go wrong. It's not an age statement, but it's going to be probably in that 50% range ABV. It's good stuff. The red wine cask is my favorite so far. The peat smoke from the sherry cask releases have overpowered the other notes so far, but maybe I'm just sensitive. Oh, interesting. Yeah, I haven't opened that sherry cask yet, so I'm not quite sure, but interesting to hear the red wine cask. I found it to be a little bit light and muted. The one I have, I think it's 6 years old. I'm going to give it a little bit more time. Jason says I'm slowing down a ton, saving up to buy some things in Scotland in May, if that still happens. Oh, wow, man. Jason, I hope you get the opportunity. I know with this COVID-19, I hope you get the opportunity to get over there, because that would be amazing. Telex says to Ben Weavenhunter, I vote for a vintage year original cast strength Lochgorm Saneg red wine Saturns. Oh, interesting. Okay, so Telex would know. Telex has got a lot of experience with the Kilhoman. Probably even more than me. It says the one was 180 at Petite Cellars in Ellicott City. They still have a bottle, I think. Give them a call. Which one are you talking about was 180? The original cast strength? That seems like a high price. Eric, have you had Bruichladdich Isla Barley any year you'll enjoy? Yeah. The Bruichladdich Isla Barley is awesome. I have the not the Portshaw. They didn't call it that. I have the Isle of Barley and the Scottish Barley. I've had the Scottish Barley, which was great. I have the Isle of Barley, which I got to open. Yeah, no, that stuff is great, man. Red wine Kilchoman opened up for me more after time for sure. Not sure if it was oxidation or just my taste buds not being used to the profile. So that's great. This is great advice because I'm not like, I've had a couple sips out of it. I haven't drank a lot of it, but I'm not 100% sure. It's been a little bit, yeah, it struck me a little bit light and it lacked depth. I think it's only 5 or 6 years old, which might be part of it, but I was going to do a review, but I've been hesitating. Just because I don't like to review a whiskey until I feel like I have a good sense of its profile. Some of those I get real quick. Sometimes, you have 2 or 3 drams of a whiskey, you feel like you know it. Other ones, man, it can take upwards of like a half a bottle before you really know. Telex says Petite Cellars has the Kilkerran 15 Oloroso. Oh yeah, okay, yeah. Well, I've heard good things. I have a couple of the Kilkerrans. I have the 12. I did a review of the Peat in Progress Batch 1. I also have the Sherry in Progress. And I have heard nothing but good things about this 15-year-old. And I'm a big Campbelltown fan. I mean, Springbank 15 might be one of my top 3 favorite whiskeys ever. I have not done a review yet, but I'm about to because I just got a couple bottles of it. It's amazing. The Springbank 15 is amazing. I love the Springbank 10. I love the Springbank 12 cast strength. Pretty much batch variation exists, but they're all fantastic. What other Campbelltown whiskeys? Glen Scotia 15 was my whiskey of the year last year for under $100 whiskey of the year last year. Can't go wrong with Glen Scotia 15. And it's at a stupidly criminal good price right now. You can still get a bottle of Glen Scotia 15 for less than $70, which is just highway robbery considering the way prices are these days. If you see it anywhere, grab it. I just opened the Victoriana, so I'm making my way through that. Glen Scotia, it's awesome. What other Campbelltowns have I had recently? Yeah, I think that's about it. But yeah, they're all awesome. There's just a signature. There's a funkiness and a style to it that you just don't get out of anything else. That like you honestly can't go wrong with. I highly recommend the Glen Scotia 15 if you haven't had it. It's so freaking good. Where are we at? Wow, 2.5 hours already. Amazing. Yeah. What's everybody drinking on? I hope folks are still having some good drams right now. Jason Coates says, yeah, Glen Scotia 15 is great. I agree. Dude, the Glen Scotia 15. I really couldn't believe how good that was. I got it. I'm not going to lie. I got it for less than $60. And I was like, how is this even possible? Non-chill filtered, 46%, age statement. It's so freaking good. It's a fly under the radar, and that's what made it my whiskey of the year. I mean, not only do you get the like peat smoke influence, but you also have that like kind of signature Springbank slight funkiness. You have the sherry cask influence. It's so good. I wish I had bought a case of that because I can only imagine it's going to go up in price. The Victoriana, which I've just started getting into, is also amazing. I also have a bottle of their double cask. I haven't opened it yet, but dude, Glen Scotia is making amazing whiskey. It flies under the radar. Keep your eyes peeled for it. God, that is so good. And yeah, Springbank. I haven't had the older Springbanks, mostly because they're cost prohibitive. It's just, they're just too damn expensive. I did just find a Springbank 20 sherry single cask for $275. I'm considering buying it. But the Springbank 15, I haven't done the review yet. It's a whiskey I opened this year. I think it might be a runner. It's going to be in the running for my whiskey of the year for sure. I had never had it before, but it's just freaking amazing. Yeah. Taku says Glen Scotia 15 is stupid good. Yeah. Van Diemen Hunt only Ardbeg 10 about 2 hours ago doing dishes. Nice. I think I paid 70 and I'm super happy with that. Are you talking about the Glen Scotia 15? Yeah, totally. Telex says, what do you guys think about the Glen Scotia 18? Can anyone have an older? I have not. I've not had the 18. I've seen it at under $100 though, and so I'm tempted to buy it. Jack Amber says, what about Glen Scotia Doublewood? I haven't had that one yet. I have a bottle of it. I just haven't opened it. I'm definitely interested in it though. Telex said, I did like it for a basic bourbon cast type, but maybe not as much as the 15. Are you talking about the 18? Okay. Oh, yeah. Got one right here, my friend. Oh my God. The Elijah Craig Barrel Proof releases from 2019 are all fantastic. The batch A and the batch C, I think, are the best. The B was maybe the least impressive, but still better than most. Great dram. That one, I think, is one of the most confectionery, like dessert-like of the Elijah Craig Barrel Proofs. It's so good. Glad you're enjoying that. Jack Gamer says, just found a C917. They didn't rotate this out. Are you serious? Wow. That's amazing. You don't find that every day. I hope you grabbed every one you could. Those are old. That's an old batch. And that was a really good one too. I think that was the first Elijah Craig Barrel Proof I ever had, and I was blown away by it. I think Elijah Craig Barrel Proof, it's 12 years, unchill filtered. I think it's the best. I think it's the best premium bourbon you can get, and it's under $80 in almost all cases. Richie Z's talking real talk right here. Springbank 15 is one of the most untalked about scotches, but it's amazingly complex. Yeah, it's so good. I have 3 bottles of it. They're 2016 versions. I don't know how that won't make my top 5 whiskeys of the year this year. It's freaking amazing. So I 100% agree with you. And so does Telex. Bayou Drams has got a good memory. So this comment here comes from I got a little excited about this a few weeks ago, and it was the last live stream. It was almost 2 months ago. It's been a while since I've done a live, and I went and grabbed it, and I grabbed it by the top of the bottle, and the cork basically has I don't know if you can really tell, but it has it half broke, and I dropped the bottle, and a bunch of it went all over the place. It was a dangerous moment for a stellar bourbon. So that was dangerous. Things are still good here. I haven't had any more accidents since I'm by you, so I appreciate you reminding me of that. Richie Z says, totally, Jason. It's my second bottle, so yeah, I'm enjoying it, says Taka. Yeah, awesome. This is something I have heard. I have never had the 18 because I can't find it for less than like $190. But I've heard that it's like a little more hit and miss, which is actually one of the reasons I was hesitant on the 12, or not. I'm sorry, not the 12, the 15, because I was like, I've heard that like how can it be better? How can anything Springbank make be better than the 12 cask strength? Like, how can any of it be better? The 15 has challenged that notion, and I have considered the 18, but as Telex is mentioning here, I've just got a lot of feedback from people back and forth that like the 18 there's something about it. There's just like it doesn't quite hit on all cylinders for a Springbank, and so I'd be curious if anybody else has had it here and has opinions on the 18. Richie Z says, I've had 2 Springbank 15s and it is well worth the price, but it's vanishing. Yeah. Any price, yeah. Ben Demon Hunter, Eric, was your last live stream on Robert Burns Night with food quick Canadian samples? Need to still watch it. Yeah. I think that was the night of my Elijah Craig barrel proof disaster. Well, almost a disaster, but yeah, I think that was the night that I dropped that bottle. So glad people remember. You should go back and check out. That was a fun live stream. Oh, Jason Coates says he's not in love with the Springbank 15. Interesting. I'd love to hear what about it that turned you off. I mean, it might be batch variation. Let me hang on just 1 second. Let's see. So I ran into a shop that was still selling this one at $95.99 a bottle. This is the one I got. I got 3 of these. So they're olderish packaging. I've put some time into it, as you can say. So I know Springbank because they're amazing. They put the stamp on it. So this is from, yeah, this is bottled in 2016. So this is a 2016 bottle, and it's fantastic. So I'd be curious if you've had a different version, or if you know, or they had 3 on the shelf. I bought all 3. Without trying it. Well, no, that's not true. I bought 1 and then I went back and bought the other 2. So I'd be interested, Jason, if you've had one that looks different than that, or if you just have some reasons why you don't love the notes on it. Telex says it is a bit expensive too, indeed. Are you? Oh, I think you're. Sorry, I'm getting behind in the chat again. Oh, I think you're talking about the 18. Yeah, the 18 is like $180 or something. DHS vouches for the 21 and 25, but doubt I'll ever be able to afford those anytime soon. No, yeah, no, man. The Springbank 21 and 25 are crazy expensive. Jason Coast, batch variation is always possible with Springbank. Yeah, this one, the Springbank, what they call it, the Springbank funk, that kind of like funky dunnage warehouse note that you get off those. The one, that. I don't know how to describe the Springbank funk. It's just something if you drink Springbank. It's prominent in this one, but I love that. And so I think it might be one of the reasons I like it. The later ones haven't done as well, maybe, said Telex. Springbank is one of those that is on my list to try. Perhaps I will splurge when my tax return comes in, says buyer. Yeah, start with the Springbank 10. Or honestly, you know what? If I was going to recommend it, I would say if you can find it, get the Springbank 12 cast strength. That's the best expression of Springbank. I think that'll let you know right away if you're a fan. It's the thing about them is they do things the right way. All their stuff is non-chill filtered. All their stuff is made on site. All of it's natural color. None of it's bottled below 46%. They do everything right. The Springbank 12 cast strength is amazing. But if you find the 10, get the 10. If you find if you can only find the 15, get the 15. But the 12 cast strength is really it's a stellar dram. Donner Pest, Springbank 12 strength is great, but after seeing Whiskey Novice video where you explained the last 2 batches are very different than the previous ones. Glad I have older ones. Yeah, I mean, like, that's the thing with the cast strength. I mean, you get the batch variation. Like, they're all going to be a little bit different. Jason Coates. Yeah, man. If you know, you know. There's nothing quite like it. It has this aura, and the way it makes you feel when you smell that funkiness off a Springbank is like you feel like you're tasting an old whiskey, like you're tasting kind of something that's made in some type of like bygone era. It just has this mystique to it. I can understand that for some folks it's not for everybody, but like, yeah, it just has this quality to it that if it connects with you, you're going to appreciate Springbank even more. It's the total truth. Yeah, Telex says, I love Dunnage Warehouse. Ooh, man. Yeah, totally. Like, Jason Coates, 12 CS is great. So is the 10. Yeah, dude, the 12 CS is, I think it was one of the batches was my top, was second on my Whiskey Theater video. Yeah. Ben Demon Hunter only have had a Springbank 10 sampler. Still have half a bottle. Was saving it to compare to the Ardbeg 10. Ooh, that'll be an interesting comparison. I think they're very different whiskeys. You do get a little bit of peat smoke with the Springbank 10, but I do think that there's a little bit of bourbon cask similarity, I believe. So I'll be curious to hear about that. Yeah, that's interesting. Jason Coates, the thing in my 15 that doesn't work for me is this wintergreen candy cigarette note that never quite resolves with the strawberry jam notes from the sherry. Oh, wow, that's interesting. Oh, you got that nailed ahead. You definitely spent some time with that, didn't you, Jason? That's some serious notes there. Interesting. I wonder if I'll pick those up now that you put it in my head the next time I have Springbank 15. Telex says, I'll tell a quick story. Oh, they'll put this up. My first trip to Maine and going through Rhode Island, went to this place and that brought a Springbank 10 from the basement for me. They pour me a wine type pour twice. Really? They just gave you the goblet in like about 4 ounce pour or something like that? That's amazing. Richie Z says, Eric, the old Dunnage warehouse or Rickhouse aromas are so magical. Yeah. Jason Coates, Ardbeg 10 is much cleaner than Springbank. But yeah, totally. Cleaner is a good way to put it. Just got a long row NAS bottle and it's great, says Donner Pass. Ooh, interested to hear about that. Lot of love. Just subscribe. Rob mentioned you in the channel. Oh yeah, cheers. Yeah, we had a great time. I was on the live stream earlier tonight with Rob Whisky in the 6. Well, I wasn't on it. I was just watching. And Rob was doing a great comparison with Glenallachie 15 and Glendronach 15. If anybody who's watching tonight has not yet subscribed to Whisky in the 6 the number, drop it in your search bar, find his channel, check it out. He does great whiskey reviews. He's up in Canada, a lot of Scotch stuff. He's got good stuff. And yeah, I gave him a super chat. He gave me a plug actually for my channel. So thanks for swinging by, Multi. A lot of love. Appreciate the sub. Raise a glass to you, Solancha. And hope you enjoy my channel. Telex says, agreed there. They know how to refine a whiskey, man. I think they're talking about Springbank. You remember, mine's 3 years newer, guaranteed not to be the same drink, I think. Oh, yeah. Yeah, the batch variation on Springbank for sure. Jack Gamer 1243 says, 46% wine. Yeah, now you're talking my language. Ooh, I'm not sure. Maybe I missed something. Maybe you're talking about the long row? Telex says, mind you, it's the dirtiness I love, says Jason Coates. Jason Coates. Telex as well. The Ardbeg. Get that one. A little nice and swampy. Dude, I have not had the Ardbeg. Boy, I would love to. I will tell you, though, this Mocker Break cast strength is going down real nice. Richie Z says to Donner Pass, which long row? Yeah, welcome, man. Appreciate you giving them some love, Telex. Yeah, welcome everybody. We got a noob in the house. Awesome to have you here with us tonight on this, non-COVID-19 apocalypse. No, it is the COVID-19 apocalypse, but we're just talking whiskey, so we can pretend it's not happening. Jason Coates says to Telex, I've never seen one in the wild. I'm okay with my Ardbegs being sharp and clean there. Well, I'm assuming you're talking about Ardbeg. Ooh. I have the old 10, 15, 18, and 17-year-old Springbank. Wow. Man, I would love to hear about those. I didn't even know there was a 17. How old are you talking? I'd be interested to hear. Richie Z says, Eric, what was your favorite bourbon of 2019? Elijah Craig Barrel Proof Batch A119, followed closely by the Elijah Craig Barrel Proof C919. I think 2019 was a great year for Elijah Craig Barrel Proof. I think all 3 batches they did that year were fantastic. And I think the A9 119 was probably the best. Another bourbon I had that I thought was really good that year. I think there was 1 or 2 others that I thought were really actually stunning whiskeys. Let me just double check real quick. What did I all have on there? Yeah, for bourbon, I think those Elijah Craig Barrel Proofs were the best. Another one that I really, really liked was the Knob Creek Quarter Oak. That one kind of took me by surprise. That was a really good one. Yeah, I think that's where I'd go. I think it's the Elijah Craig Barrel Proofs, and that Knob Creek was really good too. Ben Demon Hunter is out. Slancha. Yeah, take it easy, Ben Demon Hunter. Downer passes to Richie. It's the basic long row peated. Cool. Whiskey Pilgrim is up. Hey, good to see you. We're still going here. About to hit the 3-hour mark. I'll probably have to settle things down as we get closer to there. But good morning to you. Take good care of Ben Demon Hunter. Thanks for swinging by. Telex Whiskey Texas. Take a good look at it. You can still find in the wild for $200 to $300 sometimes. Ooh, I'm not even sure if I remember what we were talking about here. Oh, Ardbeg, probably Ardbeg. Telex saying the Whiskey Pilgrim, good to see you. Richie said good choice. I love the C919. Yeah, the C919 is awesome. Saying hi to Telex, Bayou Drams. All the 2019 were fantastic. My favorite bourbon that year was the C919. Then again, I didn't try batch 12 Stag Junior. I've never been as big of a fan of Stag Junior. I've heard some of these newer batches are better. I always found it to be kind of a hot mess. I had some of the earlier ones, so I've kind of shied away from picking it up. Plus the prices went crazy. I remember when Stag Junior used to be $65, $70. Now it's like over $100, which I just won't pay for Stag Junior. I just won't do it. But I've heard that the batch 12 is supposed to be amazing. And, if I ever get my hands on a sample, I'd love to hear it. Telex says I hear Knob Creek. I have to crack up every time because literally I grew up there in Kentucky. Oh, man. And Telex is not a bourbon fan, which is hilarious. Telex is single malt only. Well, not single malt, but Scotch only. Barley malt. That's funny. I didn't realize you grew up in Kentucky, man. Maybe you do have a sweet spot for bourbon, or maybe you just have a grudge against your home state or something. All right, folks are saying later to Ben because Ben's dropping out. All right, y'all. Yeah, we're getting close to the 3-hour mark, and I'm about to finish up this dram. So I think I'm gonna wind things down here for the night. We're getting close to the 1 o'clock hour here in Philadelphia, and so even though I got the day off tomorrow, I'm about hitting my limit. So hey, it's been a lot of fun. I'm glad we got to take the opportunity to talk shit about whiskey and forget about all this craziness going on. I hope everybody stays safe. Hope your family stays safe. Take the necessary precautions. This whole coronavirus COVID-19 thing, it's not a joke. Go to the CDC website if you have to know what to do. Take it seriously. Hopefully we'll all make it through this. But in the interim, we'll probably all be spending more time at home. I'm going to do my best to keep the whiskey reviews going. And there's a whole bunch of other great folks here. Telex, the Whiskey Tech, Whiskey Pilgrim, Bayou Drams, a whole bunch of folks are doing great reviews. Be sure to sub their channels, check that stuff out. And with that, I'll take this last swig, and I will catch you all next time, man. Good to see everybody.